Welcome to Meadowbrook Memories Podcast. I am Jelly, otherwise known as Glacier Prince, and my co-host is Hitchcock, otherwise known as Alfred Henry. Our mission on this podcast series is to explore the stories behind the magic that was created at Meadowbrook. When over a span of 4 years, between 1982 and 1986, we saw the transformation of a small coeducational school with less than 1,200 students, 800 boys, 800 girls and 400 boys into a successful sports and scholastic champion, winning 7 major trophies, 3 Sunlight Cup, 2 Topping Cup, 1 Walker Cup, and 1 Nutriment Shield. And to crown these achievements, Meadowbrook also produced 2 Rhodes Scholars, Cavell Creighton in 1987 and Andrea Wright in 1989, both graduates of Meadowbrook in 1983. In this podcast series, we'll be speaking to persons, both males and female, who were actively involved in this incredible journey, along with friends and staff at Meadowbrook, which inspired the environment which created this golden era. We hope you enjoy our discussion. Please give us as much support and encouragement as you can on whatever social media platform you are listening. Welcome and thanks for joining us. Alright, ready? Go. Today is Sunday, October 23rd, 2022. And welcome back to another conversation about Meadowbrook memories. Me, as usual, Glacier, our Lance, our Prince, our Jelly, and any one of those names will do. Joining me for the first time as co-host is the second hardest working footballer whom Meadowbrook ever produced. And as I always say, only Ira Turner run more miles for Meadowbrook than this man I'm a co-host today, Luke Witter. Welcome back, Luke.
Yes, man. Glad to be here.
Both our guests tonight will be given proper introduction. We'll have to be given a proper introduction. Our first guest started in Meadowbrook in 1980. He was a member of that great Colts team that went to the finals in 1982. A member of the Under 16 team that won the first football trophy for Meadowbrook. A great all-round athlete who batted at number 3 and never lost a relay on sports day while representing Wardhouse. He was a member of the ISCF, and he also had the ISCF, and he also had the distinction of representing Jamaica in a flag presentation ceremony in 1983 when the now late Queen Elizabeth visited Jamaica. Our next guest is a member of the Hills Posse, Red Hills, Rockall area, who came to Meadowbrook and, as far as me concerned, punched greater than them weight class. And a member of the Hills Posse who all know themselves, and some of them have been on this conversation before today. Because if we start call out the names from the Hills Posse, we're going to there all night. So we can't call out them names. Them know themselves, right? And them know them contribution to Meadowbrook greater than where them come from. The next guest we talk about started in Meadowbrook in 1978 and represented our great school at under 13, Colts and Manning Cup football. He was a member of that team that won the first football trophy for Meadowbrook and played midfield with one of the greatest midfielders Meadowbrook ever produced in my mind, Paul Gabler-Smith and Devon Twitter-Reid. A good all-round athlete who was competitive 1,500 meter runner. He never got champs, but him compete at sports day. He was a prefect and represented Gartro in the house challenge quiz competition. So without further ado, let me introduce them two men who are joining the conversation for the first time to share their Meadowbrook memories. Welcome, Steve Williams. Introduce yourself. And Raymond, introduce yourself, my brother.
Well, I'm Stephen Williams, class of 1985. I started Meadowbrook in 1980 and graduated in 1985.
Yeah, welcome, Steve. Welcome. And Raymond,
Yes.
introduce yourself, my brother.
Yeah, man, Raymond Robinson, class of 83 officially. Attended Meadowbrook and just had a wonderful time, great experiences there, and look forward to the conversation today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming, brother. And Luke Witter, as I said, the second hardest man who ever played football for Meadowbrook. Reintroduce back yourself, my brother.
Yes, man. This is Luke Witter, class of 84. Went to sixth form and left in 86, December.
Yeah, man. So by now, the man who come on this will know the first question I'm going to ask the man. I'm going to start with you, Steve, since we introduced you first. Did you choose Meadowbrook or Meadowbrook chose you?
Meadowbrook chose me now.
Tell me what that gonna.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Calabar,
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my second choice was KC. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know about Meadowbrook. I mean, I had two two friends that went to Meadowbrook. This guy named Hickson, tall guy,
Yeah, man,
tall,
I remember
lanky
him
guy.
doing a six arm, yes. Him come from Calabar and come Meadowbrook
Hicks.
six arm. I know you attack, yeah man.
And then there was Wiggy Locks that is Everton Dunkley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there was Scary, well, about the road from me. That's
Yes,
a
scary
Johnson.
place center half, yes, yes.
Yeah, Johnson. Right. Yeah. So, I didn't know much about Meadowbrook apart from those person that was in the area. But my first choice was Calabar.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I didn't make it to Calabar, but with no regrets because the first day of orientation, it was like a miracle. The 38 bus, I was at the bus stop with my mother, and that bus turned up late.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this young girl and her mother that they were waiting on the bus also, and my mother and her mother joined and took a taxi together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. And after meeting that young lady, I didn't want to go to no other school but Meadowbrook because I was to know her. Yeah. So
You mind sharing
when
a young lady the name?
no, I don't know her status, but she know herself. When she hear this
Sure no.
podcast, she know herself.
I hear you, Steve. So, by the way, you say, which part you take common entrance? Which part you used to live when you take the common entrance? What area?
Oh, I usually live in between. I was in Duane Park
Mm-hmm.
and Short. My father lives in Duane Park and my mom lives in Shortwood.
Okay, I
But
got you.
I attended Shortwood practicing.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
why the
So
38 bus was convenient for you, because 38 bus went up there, so.
at that time when I was going, I was by my mom at the time, so I went there. I had also take the 38.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. So you, Raymond, did Meadowbrook choose you, or you chose Meadowbrook?
All right, Dylan, I tell you, sometimes life gives you what you need, not necessarily what you want. You know what I mean? And I wanted to go to Wilmar's High School because Wilmar's Boys, because I was at the time I was going to Almontown Primary School in Almontown, so right by race course right there. So every day I walk past, I'm walking home, I'm seeing the Wilmar's high school over there. So you see
Mm-hmm,
Michael up the road, you see the girls, Wilmar's girls on the other side, and I'm like, yo, this would be nice. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
So I picked for Wilmar's, but didn't get through for Wilmar's. And it was so ironic, though, that, at the end of the day, coming to Meadowbrook, kind of give you a perspective. First day of school, I met two people that I went to, what you call it, basic school with, right?
mm-hmm.
So them used to have a school on Reynolds Road called Mount Olive. And I think Paul Gabler and Patrick Gabler went there as well. Jono went to that school. Me and Jono went to that school as well as Brian Dixon. And I haven't seen Brian or Jono since I left. Them used to call the school Mother Buck Buck.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you ever heard that name, the Mother Buck Buck, right off of Reynolds Road. And but the first day I came to Meadowbrook, first person walk up to me was Jono. And him say, boy, oh, you're going to like, remember me.
Yeah. Repeat that, Raymond. You kind of drift out a bit. Repeat that.
No, I'm saying when I met him for the first time at the school, he was the one that approached me and said, oh, you're going like you remember me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that friendship with Jono has lasted until today.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jono then in Canada and me and him reason all the while. I was still tight. And the other person that I ended up reconnecting with at Meadowbrook was a guy by the name of Brian Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call him Preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to live right next door to St. Richard's Primary School, and we used to go to Mother Buck Buck together and thing. And so when he saw me, same kind of reaction, oh, go on, Virgin, and it so happened that Brian ended up in my class, so we were in 1A2 together. and it was just a great experience. So sometimes God give you what you need, not necessarily what you want. You know, I wanted to go to Woolmans, but I ended up at Meadowbrook, and relationships have just been amazing. All of the relationships I've had through the school, and even after leaving the school, have just been great. So
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question now. So you said I live at Almontown. At what time you became a member of the Hills Passe?
no, I wasn't living in Almontown, you know. So
Oh, you go
let me
school
clarify
Almontown.
that.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, so it almost feel like it feels almost like wickedness when you think about it. Your parents, you live at Rockall, and your parents are saying you go, we are Almontown, go school. More time I wake up at 5 o'clock a morning time to catch the bus to reach at Almontown. But I think my father wanted me to kind of have some life experiences, you know what I mean? Some street smarts, right? So, you know, he grew up in Constant Spring himself, and Whitehall Avenue and them way there, and so he was probably more of the mindset of, yeah, you have to go to school and learn these things, but you need to have some street smarts about you as well. You know what I mean? So
Because you live at Rockall all this time, then you have Almontown.
yeah, man, of course, yeah. All the whole time. And even through 1978 when the election thing I go on mad in Jamaica, and leading up to the 1980 election and thing, and go to school and I hear shot fire all over the place when we have to grab my liquor sit and run.
Yeah.
You know, but you learn how to flex, and you learn how to live, and you learn how to move. You understand me? So yeah, it was a good experience. I never regret none of that.
No, but that's why I'm clear up. Say your Hillsman experience bona fide. I don't want you to think say you say a Hillsman, and I say, but I'm not really a Hillsman. So me clear that up early.
No, man. No, man. But what was ironic about living on the hills and then ended up coming to Meadowbrook was all of the people, them like you mentioned earlier, that were already going to Meadowbrook, like Timon and Oral. And,
yeah, man, right, exactly.
I don't know if you knew Eileen Pitt, or Garfield Creary, or any of them people.
Yeah, I know Creary. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So all of those people were already going to Meadowbrook. So it seemed natural, right? And a lot of the books I ended up getting for school, and them people that give me them books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
your master talk about that too. I don't know that Hillsman to see me. Say him get book from Curtis them and all them. Yeah,
man.
Yeah. It was a great experience, man. I come from up in the hills and all them, and man, trust me, the contribution in the Hills Passe give Meadowbrook, them can't pay back for that, man. You can't say that. Because the contribution of the man them come from the hills, from academic to sports wise. Them contribution, we can't measure it at all. I tell you, Raymond. So Stephen, you come to Meadowbrook the first day, no, say you pick for Woolmers. No, you pick for Woolmers or KC.
That Woolmers, Calabar and
KC. So you come to Meadowbrook now. You never know the school there before. So the first impression when you come to Meadowbrook now, apart from the fact that, boy, you meet somebody at the bus stop for the first time, you say, right, you don't want to go back. When you come on the campus now, how you feeling going on the Meadowbrook campus?
I love the setting, especially the part with the mango tree around us. And I'm like, hey, you know, this place is nice. And then we start to some people, well, it's only 4 of us from Shorter practicing went past the Meadowbrook. So I start look around now, I see some people, and it's the first in my life, like me have amongst me with my peers, white people and China people and different. Right, yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first one come and talk about that. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
They look like one anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think he's referring to me still. No, because I just live up the road from Stadium, and he used to see me down at the park sometimes. So I don't think he's referring to people.
That's a trouble, man.
He's referring to the satin doors, and he's referring to the saffrons, rest in peace. And the Debbie Duhaney was in my ear, if you all know her. But yeah, there was some, and Sarah. You remember Sarah from Raymond's ear?
Sarah Blair. Yeah.
So but we know who the white people were.
No,
they were really white.
But I was classified as a white person too, because we used to drive car to my school. I'm going to talk to a girl today on the podcast. What's her name again? Maureen Yearwood. And she said, when she heard me talk and say I come from Permacar, she couldn't believe it because she thinks say up on the hills me live because I drive car to my school. So I know what I talk about, and I say you get misrepresented because of how you look and how you carry yourself. So I understand that. But you come to Meadowbrook and you realize that don't mean nothing, you know. That don't mean nothing at all.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That don't mean nothing. But continue, Steve. Continue. That's your experience. You come in now and you say you buck up on some people. You never believe you buck up on at all because you're just not familiar with them, the environment. Continue.
Right, and then after before the orientation done, the day finish, I mean, I start gather a whole lot of friends and all that, we start exchange addresses and thoughts and hobby and basically we just try a conversation. But my mind was still on this young lady because I say, hey, I don't want to miss her mother, I can go my way, go on the bus guys and we sit.
I hear you.
It so end up that at the end of the day we both get chosen for 7J. That's on the morning shift.
Yeah. No, interesting, Steve. Interesting. So yeah. So what's some of the other friends that you meet on the first day you come to school or the first week you come to school, if you remember some of them?
Yeah, man. The first I use him because can't never forget him. He was the singer's son, and like he was a.
Which singer that again, Steve? Remind me, the name familiar.
Transactors, man. Transactors. One who sing our leader, barn.
Yeah. Song from the 70s. Yes.
Yeah, man. His son was in my farm. There was Kenneth Campbell, which I'm about to fire up to this day. From first name was man, bonafide bridge up to now. There was Squid, Harley Campbell.
Squiddy? Squiddy?
No, I use them called Squid. Harley Campbell.
Okay. Yeah.
He was in that dance group and Peter Anderson, Goldilocks. Goldilocks live in a Permacal. He come from
Sinclair. We talk about him all.
Yeah, he just come from England and he started Meadowbrook. And he was born in England. Dean Marie White, Veronica Robinson, Raquel Malcolm, Donna Hemmings. So, a bag of people. And, we start, the conversations were good conversation, a positive conversation and things. I'm saying, I don't need to leave Meadowbrook at all. I need to be here. Right. I choose to stay.
Yeah, man. And you, Raymond, you never know Meadowbrook there before you come to Meadowbrook, but you come there on the first day now and you say you fall in love with the school. What changed so quickly?
Well, may I tell you, it was interesting because you probably know some of these people, Jelly. I don't know if you remember a guy by the name of Brian Allen that he used to go Calabar and he came to Meadowbrook in sixth form.
Yeah, man, I know you're talking, man. I know exactly where you're talking.
So Brian used to live right around the road from me, literally, because I walked by him house. And in fact, I used to walk to his house a lot. His father was the principal for Tivoli Gardens. And then his mother was a teacher also at the Rockall All-Age School. And so their family and my family were very close. And so coming to Meadowbrook now and I said, Brian, Brian is here. but can't mess up, if I mess up Brian, it'll get back to my mother.
Yeah, them time I'm in a sixth form, I know you're talking. Yeah, them
time Patrick Prince, I think, was in sixth form with him.
Yeah, to my brother, yeah.
So Patrick, and I want to tell you, Patrick was very intimidating because he used to have them glasses some big glasses.
Some professorial glasses,
Yeah. That's what I remember most about him, Tina, the glasses for you.
What? You're shaking in your boots when Patrick look for you, man, because, serious man, them, and I use them Dragon and them, man. But
Michael Miller,
my class, my contemporaries, the people that I went to, was in the same year as me, I mean, I had a great group. Alan Blackwood was in my class. I used him Hugh Jones, I used to call him Punny. But Baller, I said Baller, that you could have played ball in a man. And he ended up leaving in second form. Michelle Young, Norman Nar, Andrew Elliott, right? Tyrone Dixon, of course, Marston and them Monday. So it was just a good group. And I mean, I think everybody just we kind of just assimilated together. And it was a good group. I remember first football competitions were hotly contested because we were part of the first wave of what them call it evening shift. I think 1978 was when Meadowbrook first started the evening shifting, and we were one of the first groups of children on the evening shift. So, and them used to have to say, boy, the evening shift people, them never pass common entrance, or them not smart, or you know, them in discipline. But we were just there to prove everybody wrong. You know what I mean? So, you know, when it comes to ball game and academics, all of those people I mentioned, we were all about that. You know what I mean? So it was a good group, man. Good experience, good group.
So all right, wait, let me ask back Steve that question. We like what the campus where you come on, Steve, in terms of say like just the surroundings and name some of the teacher them will remember, Steve.
I think what I love about the campus was just the cleanliness. You know, it was always clean, and it was a small campus, and it was easy to go around. Unlike my primary school, that you know, it was a huge place because you know it was beside the teachers' college, and we had a huge campus, but one thing that frightened me though, when I came there, I didn't know there was a bottom field, and I saw a liquor field, and I was like, oh, we will keep sports there. You know, that was my thing.
Yeah,
right?
you might come to that. Come on, the impression about bottom field. That's a good point you bring up because
So it was just a little place and thing, and you know, and there wasn't much. It's not a big place in terms of what I used to at primary school and thing. But you know, and there wasn't any canteen yet and anything like that. And there was this man outside selling that before I think he wasn't allowed to come on campus. That a picker.
Yeah, that revolt that took place in 82 in the 6th farm. Yeah, for get him inside of the school, because them do want to lock him out. Well, yeah, picker that's what I did at the time. Steve,
right.
Yeah.
But Jelly, let me interject something else, Jelly, because I think this is important in terms of just my perception of the school. So one of the things I found that was really great with Meadowbrook was the fact that it was a school that was built out from a church. So it emerged from a church community, right? So you go to assembly in the mornings, and you know Reverend Daly did it, or I forget what the other guy name. I think it's Reverend Cook or Cook or something like that.
Yeah.
Used to have these very you know, before we start with the, you know, I think assemblies were Mondays and Fridays or something like that.
Yeah.
General assemblies where they were really going at the Bible, and it was really about making sure that they were building good character in the students and making sure that people understood, you know, what was important in terms of the values that the school had. And I thought that was just so awesome, right? Because obviously, growing up in a church myself, I had a great affinity towards some of that. So that was a huge part for me for Meadowbrook throughout the years, just having that consistency with the church being a part of the school, and just being part of the worship service or the assemblies in the morning was always a cool thing. So.
Yes, Steve. So finish up with the teachers when you come in, inspire early when you come in.
Well, Miss Dunn, my English teacher, she was great, and I think my art teacher, David Osang, he was one person that played a great part in my life also, in terms of encouraging me and all that. Yeah, and Miss Russell, geography teacher, and
Melanie Russell.
Miss McCallum, Miss McCalla. She lived in Meadowbrook Estate. She lived near Luke.
Yeah, by the roundabout there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she was great also, and there was a teacher we couldn't agree because I think he was too fussy for me. This one named Townsend, because I remember one time he came in the class and told us about his dog have more manners than us and all that, and you know I was offended by that.
Yeah. So one of them teachers that just say that way, they don't realize that they must be offensive. Yeah.
Yeah, he was teaching us some religious education, and for him I think he was a pastor, and for him to pass that remark to first farmers, I mean, I was most upset. Yeah, yeah.
Townsend was really old school for sure.
There was Miss Banks, nice teacher.
Yeah, she was a Meadowbrook old girl, though, When I got Meadowbrook, I was in
Right.
5th farm or 6th farm, yeah. And she had a twin sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was Miss Smith. I think she taught mathematics. She was in Miss Jamaica World competition.
Yeah,
but,
Kevin Barnes come remind me about that when P1 come in here.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't remember that until you remind me of Loki. I said, yo.
Yeah, man, she was good looking, man. She was well known. From the first day she started teach, everybody wanted to know who she is.
No, but I attest to that. Yes, I know you have that. I'm not saying much more, but yeah. But continue, Steve. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the Spanish teacher. She stuck the name onto me because I didn't know that my name was Esteban in Spanish. So the first class, she took interest in me, and she was like everything she called, and Esteban.
Okay.
So I got all my classmates started to call me Esteban.
Esteban.
So
That's a Spanish.
Up to this day, some of my former classmates still call them, see me on the road. Them still Esteban, and so that name stuck on me.
Some Meadowbrook people are calling you out. I hear you.
Right.
Yeah, so you, Raymond, the teacher that may come in and inspire you early. We just come Meadowbrook in the first year there. Where you remember?
Yeah, Mr. Nairn. What I did. He was. I think he was at one point. He was my farm teacher. Clean, always clean.
Cool cat.
Soft spoken, very clean, but a disciplinarian. I remember over the years, then there were teachers like Mrs. Pottinger, who taught history. I tell you, boy, that woman was special to me because I remember when I was in 5th farm taking O levels, I had missed. I was supposed. It's like the exam was like on a Wednesday. The history exam was on a Wednesday. I'm going to the exam with an A, right after the coursework, right? And was just going through some things, personal things at home, and completely missed the date of the exam. So I show up the Thursday at the school. And you said she see me, Jelly. The woman ball, she ball. So we thought something was wrong with you. You were probably sick or in an accident, and I know there's no way you would have missed the exam. And I tell her, I was so crushed, but her affection and genuineness to me just spoke volumes, Teachers, they cared about the students, really did. And Mrs. Headlam, again, was, I think, our evening shift, what them call it, principal, if you will, or evening shift.
She's evening shift, yeah.
Bello, Mr. Bell Nevis, geography. Mr. Beckford, obviously Mr. Here, right? You can't leave out the dread because he was always a part of that. And yeah, man, a lot of great teachers. Right? Stephen talked about Mr. Townsend. I never really have no problem with Mr. Townsend, but he was also a very strict person as well. Learned a lot in his class, though. Learned a lot.
And you see, I just listen to the two and that's how the beauty of the memories. That's why I like a man come talk in memories and just talk it to him feel like, Because Stephen mentioned this whole song, and a lot of people do have good memories of this whole song, Steve. I'm glad you come and clear that up in terms that say him touch you.
Yeah. It's the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah, right. No, right. So, Luke, I understand the message. I'm glad you said, Luke, because every teacher will touch a student, and they have no in touch, You follow me, I said to you, I'm glad you kind of clear that up and say, not even clear up, but let's talk history and say, this is how you feel about the man. You see me, I said to you? Because me and my song never have a good history. He never teach me, but afterward, and it's funny that when my son started Meadowbrook Prep, it ended up that his daughter and my son are the same class of Meadowbrook Prep. You follow me, I said to you so. But as I said, I don't come here to talk bad about nobody at all. So I'm glad you come talk about
I had a positive experience with Hosang as well, but I can see how others could have negative experience. I personally had a positive experience with him.
Just like
Hosang was a good dude to me. And what I tell you, Jelly, even many years, I talk about probably 15, 20 years after leaving Meadowbrook, I was in Jamaica at Price Mart and running to Mr. Hosang.
Yeah.
and it was like meeting an old friend. Man hugged me up and right. He said, Raymond, is that you? You know, so it's just about everybody else have a different experience.
Yeah, man,
you know,
yeah,
so
man.
just,
I'm glad to hear that, man. Because to me, you know, Meadowbrook was that size of school, you know. There was a teacher there for everybody, you know.
Absolutely.
There was a teacher there
I think Hassan was really a no-nonsense person in the sense that when he identified troublemaker, who we knew were the troublemakers as well, he would confront them.
Yes.
And because of his diminutive stature, there would be a conflict.
I always got challenge him because everybody got look and say, this man is not supposed to. You're right, Loki. You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
But he was a good person. I attest to the fact that he was a good person.
Right. So, Stephen, you come to school in 1980 now. Meadowbrook never have no reputation. We never have no reputation of winning not before. We win a couple game of Manning Cup and maybe a couple game of Sunlight. And then, who inspire you when you come to Meadowbrook as an athlete? Not just inspire you. What the student will inspire you? Whether in your class or the bigger man and whether at school at the time?
I think this guy I knew from Charlotte, he merely played for Charlotte United and merely got Charlotte practicing with me. But they merely call him Nelly Nelly Bob, right? He was a short guy, and I think he played midfield for Meadowbrook, I think. You know, Scary Johnson, of course, he live 2 doors from me.
That's what Charlotte live or doing the park.
Doing the park.
Yeah.
Shakespeare Avenue, doing the park. So, you know, them man, you like the big baller.
Yeah.
Right, you know. And at the era, and think guys, I play minor league, I play major league, play Manning Cup, everything. You know, so I look up to that man, you know, and we had to play together because, you know, obviously him live 2 doors away from me. So if we play skimmage on the road or any good thing, that's scary that. So, you know, it inspired me a lot for playing the ball game.
Now, what's some of the contemporary them, like the youth them in your class? They look on and say, you say them youth are good or them inspire them, ask the right question.
Well, this guy named Anderson, Peter Anderson, his name, I think, Anderson. Peter Sinclair, them guys there, them could have played ball, trust me. They're good, ball wise. You'd have Clancy Eccles, which was he was good, great player at first farm level when it was going because, you know, I remember first farm we won the competition, the football competition, the farm competition.
Interfarm
competition. So 70 was the winner 1980. And, we were run up in cricket competition. But you know, when I come to Meadowbrook, I remember the Gobblers because they were just down the road for me. So in a all age championship, they were our rivals, and Spring and Swallowfield because they are in like one Kingston 8 area. Right. So I remember Paul and Patrick. I didn't know them at the time until I went to Meadowbrook. I saw them because I used to run for Charlotte. I used to run 400 meter and 200 meter at all age champs.
You know, book them up all age champs. Yeah, same me.
Yeah, but them up all age champs, you know, and thing. But at the time I was a little maga guy. I think and them guys they'd have a little body and look bigger than me and thing. And you know, it's when we reached Meadowbrook now, I found out that they were still the same age group as I you know, so you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah, man. So
apart from that, and then the girls now, like the netball girls and thing, there was Velma Atkinson, there was Pilmar Powell, there was Janice Ricketts, you know, they were from my farm. And they were really good. Really good at it.
Yeah. And you, Raymond, when you come to school in 1978 now, as I said, as I tell you now, Meadowbrook not a reputation for sports or as a big school or not like that at all. Who are some of the people inspire you either in sports or academic or you look up to and I say, well, you did talk about Brian Allen already. But tell me some of that student them, whether you're older student or a contemporary, look on and say, yeah, man.
Well, there's so many, Jelly, man. I don't know if I start, Virgin, because, as I said, the group that we had, I felt like I seeded a lot of talent. mean, not just sports, but academically. So, I mean, in terms of sports, there was guys like Gerald Knight, Courtney Johnson, Norman Nard. I mean, have a youth named Charlie Bop, General Baller. Let me tell you, say, General Baller. When him get the ball, nobody can take it away. Alan Blackwood, I mentioned him earlier. And I don't know if I think if Elliott had stayed at Meadowbrook, Elliott would have been a big
Andrew Elliott.
star. Andrew Elliott. Yeah, man. If he had stayed at Meadowbrook. But then Monday, I think they left probably at second or third farm.
It migrate, come
So
foreign.
Yeah, that was my little contemporary circle. And there's other people too. Like, I mean, you talk about guys like Marston, and you talk about guys like Noel Curtis, and even Henley Johnson.
Pele.
Henley Johnson, Liverpool too, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, another Hillsman, that man. Yes.
Yeah, and years later, man, he ended up a star for the Corner League side of a Rockall, and we win championships together and things like that. So, you know, it was just amazing with that contemporary group. But then outside of that, I kind of disagree with you to say that Meadowbrook never really have any accolades to speak of, because I remember the first 2 years I was at Meadowbrook, we had an amazing basketball team. I can't remember the name of the man on the basketball
No, I remember
team.
some of them. Man.
But
You're right about that. I'm glad you bring it up. But go ahead. I will tell you how the man them go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to share this with you. So, and Luke and Stephen have probably never experienced this the same way like me, because back in those days when the netball team had a game or the basketball team had a game, or we were doing cadet, you know, inspection, right? The whole school wrapped around the flat top, right outside there, right between the library and the three-story building
court,
and the whole school. I said the whole school.
Yeah, I remember.
Right? Yeah. And I remember watching. There's a guy named Alton Crawford.
Yeah, man. The best. But yeah, man. Yes. I mean, I'm in my class. I repeat fifth form. I know you talk. No.
I tell you, them time I don't know nothing about basketball. I mean, at first I see man a dribble ball and I throw it in a hoop and them thing then. But the guys were so well conditioned and played together as a team. And I think in 78, 79, they actually won. I think we beat GSC in the finals, I think.
We won the Division 2. The reason why I didn't talk about much, it was the Division 2 championship. But we were... Let me clear that up, because you're right about that. But I wasn't a basketball player. Well, as you know, Jerry can't run or even jump. Right? But me and Alton had the same class. It was an amazing run. You had Alton Crawford, Dave Hall, Conrad Davis, the two Chung them. I can name the man I remember, Richard and Ian Chung.
Ian Chung. That's
Richard
right.
and Ian Chung. You have the Harris brother, them, Gary and Carl Harris. Carl Harris in my class. And there's a brother named Desmond Day, a guy with Afro. You see, I call the man name, remember, but I reach out to a couple man, a guy named Michael Garden, Mickey Garden. All them man are part of the basketball team. It was an amazing basketball team.
Wicked side.
Yeah, man, but it's Division 2 them that play. It wasn't Division 1, but it's still a good run. It was still an amazing run. I don't grade it or nothing, but you're right. That was the first team in terms of, say, because we won Division 2 championship. And at the time, basketball wasn't a big thing in Jamaica at all. It wasn't like...
No. It wasn't a big thing. For me, as I look at Hillsman, you know, we don't play basketball. We play cricket.
No, right. Right.
So, but during that same time period, now, guys, we were also strong in netball, you know, because I used to watch my sister with Charles Robinson playing, and that was what I used to watch, the netball more than the basketball.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up, Luke. That was the other thing I was gonna say, right? Like I was saying, when it comes to these events, Meadowbrook had a phenomenal netball team, and Grace, I think Grace was probably one of the captains of that team. And again, when the girls were playing, the whole school stopped. I mean, we stopped whatever we're doing, everybody wrap around the netball court.
Full.
I mean,
Yeah.
By the time I reached Meadowbrook, there was no basketball, though.
No, that's the thing. That's exactly.
I can't remember ever seeing a basketball game.
Right, Steve. That's the thing with the basketball run there. It's like most of the money just leave, and it was. I don't know if you know this, you know, the Dread was part responsible for that thing in terms of say, I'm coach a team there, you know. Each cocktail, Mr. the Dread coach, are partly responsible for coaching that team, a basketball team.
Okay.
There. You see me, I said to you, because I don't talk to the man officially, I like talk to some other man officially, but Steve making a valuable point there. You see, 2 years later, we never built on a program there. We never built on a program. That was a sad thing. You see me, I said to you,
What Jelly? What I remember playing at Meadowbrook first farm up to third farm was softball.
Yeah, that's a softball
yeah.
to play. Yeah.
Right.
I think that was Owen's thing.
Yeah. It's our own thing. And that is a good question to answer now. And the basketball man can answer that. Is why
Wait, wasn't Mr. Owens there with his wife? I think his
Yeah,
wife
man, his
was
wife-
doing the softball.
Mrs. Owen was there, yeah, as well.
Right, she was the one running the softball.
So let me just finish something. So again, those are some of the things that I observed. But then when it comes to the football thing, I'm gonna show you. So until I saw Johnny Picker juggling a ball. Matty, I was in I go back on field one time. I think the team was training, and this is probably 79, 80 or something like that. Not 78, but more like 79, 80. And they said the man a juggle a ball, and the way the man a juggle a ball is like him a walk down the street. Right?
Yeah.
And I stopped about 5 minutes, Jelly, just to juggle the ball. And I said, whoa. Look how the man, him just comfortable, and I'm like, I'd love to have that kind of ability.
A skill,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pekka, Jim Roy, Ira, Magic Head, Liquor Big Man, Lennox Turner, even Beanie, the whole of them man, big inspiration. We. I mean, Douglas Laugh, man, big inspiration, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We used to, because, all right, let's share this.
Ferdinand Bent.
Ferdinand
Yeah.
Bent. So let's share something with you. So because I was back in them days, I'm a 7-day Adventist, right? So my parents strict on thing and you have to go to church on Saturday. But the way life set it up, and that's why I say sometimes God give you what you want, what you need, not what you want. Right above the church I used to go, Tony Moore used to live right above the church.
Another Hillsman that too again, yes.
So every Saturday when church get break for lunch now, I up at 20 yard. I hang out and while I play football and get myself in a whole heap of trouble because I'm not supposed to play no sports on Saturday. But Tony used to give me the full lay down. It's like you're listening to the radio and I hear blow by blow. Right? Boy, this is what happened, and this is what Ferdy doing, this is what Pekka doing, this is what Dragon doing, this is what Jim Rye doing. And you feel like you were there, even though I never get to watch a lot of the games in person, but it was inspirational, man.
Yeah. No, but
I believe that year we went to some semifinals, or we were supposed to go through, or we went to the semifinals.
No, Dougie laugh when talk about that. That year there is like we missed semifinal by 1 point. Apart from the team, actually went on to win. That year the Money Cup run was one of the best run, and I think it was the first year Virtue coached the team.
It was inspirational. Yes, I saw that, and I remember watching it. The first time I watched a school team, and it was inspirational.
It was a good team, but what did happen? There was a transition because the team was coached by Devon Jeffrey up to that point there, and then build a team that molded to a certain level. And then when Devon podcast come out in the year, because it's like there was some farmer. I don't want to say not much about it. When in a year, it's like I want to make up on my own mind. The transition never smooth, and put that way there. The transition never because Devon never have no intention of leaving. And I think if Devon had stayed there and look and Raymond and Stephen, Meadowbrook could have won Money Cup or Walker Cup before. I put that way there. Because what happened to me is like there was it's like what Steve mentioned said there was no basketball when him come there. In a sense, because that transition there wasn't smooth. Meadowbrook set back in terms of a football program, set back until the Dread took over and it started build back and we won 85 and 86. That's what I'm gonna say about that. Because when you hear, because I know you talk about Raymond, I not undermine and I say boy, but we never win. We win the basketball thing, I accept that and we win. Some of the girls, them Duke's sister and Sharon Robinson got called for the Jamaica national team for 1980. But for the politics of 1980, them couldn't go out for the team. So Meadowbrook produced some great athletes, both male and female in the 1980s. So I know exactly what I said. I not undermine about them, I'm not. Don't think some of that at that time. I just say the reputation for Meadowbrook, because we never won nothing big, it's like I feel like you're a Cinderella skull.
It might have felt that way, but I can tell you that we were a force to reckon with because that year that soccer team stamped a statement out there.
Yeah. And saying this and saying that, I'm just saying this because I almost forget about it, I only never did school at the time. 1977, Meadowbrook reached the quarters finals, and I was a member of that team, and that was the first time a team ever the quarters cricket final. You follow me? I said so in a sense, with the start, the well, even at that level, Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I don't mind it, Raymond. I'm like, yeah, correct me. I'm not dismissing it or nothing like that at all. Because the fact that we don't win nothing, that means that we don't have pride and want to win. Because by that time now, we feel so we can't win and we feel so we can't compete in the school. Yeah. I think
Right. And you have to remember in that year, 79 and 80, when we were doing well at Manning Cup, good enough. The under 13 team at that time, I don't know if Stadium had started at 80 when he came, but we weren't a walkover either. We weren't a walkover.
We'll make him talk about that. Start with that, Steve.
Which team? The Pepsi team?
Yeah, the Pepsi team.
Yeah, I played. Yeah, I was on that team.
Yes,
Yeah, me
right.
too. Yeah.
So
I don't remember the score, but I knew we weren't a walkover.
Yes,
Yeah,
No, we weren't. We were not. We were not.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Calabar and the rain, and they barely beat to one low.
Yeah.
Calabar and the mud. That we're a good team, man. And that's what I was saying. Like, I think although you guys had set, you were on a path to greatness already from 1977, 78, before Luke and me and everybody else that you've been talking about coming to the school. Every year after that, the class coming in contributed something. So whether it's the man them from 78 or 79, one or two players, some key parts of the team. Every year we add and that is the outcome and the results with the cricket and the football.
Exactly.
In the 80s, yes.
You call that right, Raymond. It was a gradual progression. And Steve, you can comment on that if you want. Because by the time you come in 1980, it's like we start develop a mindset where we feel so we can win. Because that to me was the most significant thing where the dread bring to all of the team them more than anything else. And the dread always call it killer instinct. It's like play just to say you compete. You play to say you want to win, and you can win. You see me, I said, and him give you the mindset there. Him change the mindset of the school in a certain way. Not just for everybody in the school thinks that we could have win. And once you start, then you change the mindset of the school. So when you came into the school, Steve, how you feel? You didn't feel like the school was a Cinderella school. I never feel like you're going inferior school. That's the question I ask.
Yeah, man. For me, it was a Cinderella school because I never hear about Meadowbrook winning anything. You know, if we had champs, because I had a big brother usually go Calabar, and friends usually go Calabar from Duane Park. So, you know, me usually go cheer for Calabar, and I wasn't that KC fan like that. I just Calabar, because Richie Martin at the time was one of my bona fide brethren. We had him one boat together and all that, you know. So it was Calabar, everything. And Meadowbrook wasn't nowhere at all.
You said Richie Martin. I think you meant Martin Sterling, right?
Martin Sterling, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sterling, right? Was his last name? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
he was class of 79 at Calabar. So yeah, when I say class of, I mean he started Calabar 79.
Yeah. So basically, overall, there was nothing sports wise at Meadowbrook. I think the only thing we won, I think 1980, or we were up top was the cadet competition. I think we placed at the first or second that year when I started with the cadet, because I was part of that cadet team too, until I just give it up because this cadet man when he was the sergeant major, I think, when he
Vivian.
No man, he was China.
him come off China.
China. When 1980, China was Colin China. He was in charge of it, of the cadet corps.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a hard time too, very hard time, because those back in 1980, prefects were allowed to punish and give detention and give notes to write and thing. And I don't remember what I did, but he took me around the school and said, "Look at this idiot," and thing in every class from first form to sixth form, right through the school, he took me through. And I'm like, you know, I didn't deserve it because it was something minor and petty. But that time, back in 1980, they were allowed to punish you and all kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you might not remember that. That's the funny thing. You might don't remember that, Steve. But this is a
Yeah,
certain
I
thing.
remember because it happened to me.
Yeah, no,
So,
I understand you, Steve. Other people understand sometimes the things to people and you don't even know where, though. You don't even realize how you do it. Because you don't get the punishment, you're not going to forget it, you know? You're not going to forget it at all. You're not going to forget it at all. So,
yeah, that,
yeah, go ahead,
it was
Steve.
something minor. And it was something minor. I think it was something to do with the Kelly thing. I didn't miss. I came late or something, and then decided to more punish me. But you know,
So you never bother go back in the cadet. I turn you off from cadet.
come on, man, stop, man.
Yeah,
No, man, buddy,
yeah.
never took me to school, man. So I believe that, man.
Yeah. So Raymond, what the first time you remember play football for Meadowbrook and who you play with?
So it was again, like I say, I think 1979. Come never met the side 1978, and 79 we'd have a good looking side. And remember going to I tell you about the Calabar game in the mud. We lose 1-0, right? And I'll never forget this. Rain fall, you know, rain may taste a rain dropping. If you ever play ball at Calabar, which I'm sure both Stephen and Luke have, you understand, say, a clay, when the rain fall, a clay you're playing.
A pure mud, man. That's a mud.
A pure mud. So you run on your shoes all come off of your foot and all of them things there. And anyway, so I play left back and a man come down the wing and I get a ball for clear and I kick and miss with my left foot. And I'm like, we lose the game 1-0 anyway. And the next training session now, it was Mr. Owen and Mr. Nairn was coaching the team. And Mr. Nairn give me a ball and say, boy, here we know. The rest of the way I go train, we go practice. You know? But you see, you go over there to a bottom field and take the ball here. And with your left foot, you're going to strike the ball against the wall for the whole practice session. So the whole practice session, I kick the ball with my left foot. I saw me get good with my left foot. So to the point now, my left actually stronger than my right. You know what I mean? But never forget those things, man. And it was a great joy playing for the school. You know, I never really, unlike Stephen, who, you know, if you grew up in a Kingston, obviously you understand all the schools are ranked. But I'm a countryman, so I never really think nothing of the facts about Meadowbrook and KC not at par. You know what I'm saying? I was just happy to be playing. So
but you know, Raymond, you know that when I play against KC and Calabar, I play at my best. For some reason, I'm always scoring in those matches.
Yeah,
because I always playing against guys who originate from doing the park and thing. Where we play with scrimmage and in the leagues and so against them. So I know them play.
Yeah. And the man that come with them big mouth, I said that you can't beat them and all of it. So
Up to this day, I'm still mad at me say I've never played at the cold final. Trust me.
There's a lot of things I'm mad at him about because he should have never switched me with Tony more.
Yeah, another final.
Never like that.
We could get into that now. So Raymond, I'm sorry to you about that. All right, before that anyway, were you surprised that we reached the quarterfinals in 1982?
No, man. What are you talking about, Jelly? Surprised? No, man. I was at every game. But just let's be clear. I was at every game. So because I was a part of the squad in the summer league. So you have to understand Mr. Here's methodology. You know, this is what a lot of people don't understand. So he took what he believed was good talent or the best talent that the school had to offer at that age group, and put everybody together. And even if some of them didn't end up playing on the Colts team, the sharpening iron was an amazing thing. So the whole summer, people who were run up and down, run through Meadowbrook. It's a man who was saying him, "Boy, okay, boys, we're gonna do a road run today and
circuit training,
training, and oh boys, we're gonna do a hill run. I don't know if you ever do the hill run, a bottom field where you put you up, right at it, and it start time you, and you have to beat your time. If you do a good time and come back, and you say, "Boy, I'm gonna beat Patrick, I'm gonna beat Paul, I'm gonna beat Luke." Him say, "All right, let's see what you got now. You got to beat the time you just did."
Yeah.
So the training the conditioning, and I think Luke talked about this when he came on the podcast before. The circuit training, the conditioning, the discipline, the teamwork, Jelly. I to this day, boy, I don't think I've played with a group of guys that have the kind of chemistry that team had. And I was not surprised. I was actually more surprised that we didn't win the final.
Mm-hmm.
Because we ball KC. We ball KC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did do some good moves. What I can tell you about that team, the summer team, I'm gonna say, the one that won the Derry Castle League, is that everybody in their respective positions was a general at that position. We weren't using somebody who could, no pian person. Everybody was playing good at that position.
Yeah.
But
good forwards, good defenders.
Mm-hmm. But let me ask you something, Steve, because you were a part of that team too, even though I never realized you come younger. Because I never think about you, other things I like you to come the same year with Luke and Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
But you were a youngster then compared to Luke and Raymond, a year and 2 years younger than him. Because Raymond mentioned something important, and I think that's how I carry Meadowbrook through all the years, the team. And Tegro put it best in as a teamwork and a dream work. What do you think contributed to the fact that Meadowbrook had such a cohesive team during all them period there?
The coach. I think the coaching from his year, and the way he brought us together as youngster, and it wasn't a party. And you see all the big star baller, they just abide by his rules and all that. If him say we go in a game with one touch and we go and our two touch or something, because him didn't want one person to hold the ball too long. Right,
yeah,
so
that's true.
With a pattern, and him say, all right, distributed to here, distributed there, and all that. Steve, he might say, Steve, them run down the flank and cross it to Patrick. Make sure Patrick get the ball, or look, Salter get the ball over there, or and all of that. So I guess it's just that teamwork and the commitment that we had, because we were to win something. Especially, I think that under 16 during the summer competition motivate us most. Say, boy, we're gonna win. Yeah.
So Raymond,
I'll add as well.
Go on, Raymond. Take the question too. Yeah.
There was no ego on the team. You understand me? So even though man like Salter, general baller, right? No ego. Approachable. Can talk to him. If you make a mistake, he must say sorry, right?
Yep.
Paul, Patrick, same thing. And then, and one of the other thing is everybody was working for each other. It didn't feel like boy, Steve out on the wing and Steve not gonna do him thing and good luck. You know what I mean? If Steve out on the wing, Steve not get support from the midfield, not get support from the wing back. Lose the ball, we try to win it back as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
So, and I just want to clarify still, there wasn't a big ball up on the side, It was more of a scrub, more of a utility man.
Yeah, you're what I'm called. What I remember, describe you. You're what I'm called a journeyman.
Yeah.
No, Jelly. Let me say it, because even a fourth farm, mean a third farm.
Raymond is too modest. Raymond was the big baller.
He was the big baller. I'll tell you why to Jelly, because as he said, he had the struggle with his religion. He rarely featured with us, even though we would see him in Interhouse and Interfarm and know that Raymond had skills. We had to really wish for him to play. And I'll tell you that, me write down in my notes here that Raymond played in 1982, was a gem in the middle. I was disappointed that we could not use him for calls. So it wasn't any scrub and ordinary, as him put it. We looked up to Raymond because, one, he was running hard and running in the right places, and he had fancy foot. Like, he would do some neat... Raymond on the ball is like fluidity in motion. But him don't know that because him can't see that. But he moves like a baller, while me might move cranky and whatever. Him a move in the middle and a dance through the middle, pretty much.
Him a move with grace.
Luke, yes. You can't say that still, no, because I think Luke was actually like, when you talk about leadership, Luke and Jono, to me, are the leaders of the team. And everybody looked up to those guys. You know what I mean? And it was good to have. That's one of the key things, Like you said, Dread love talk about killer instinct. I remember the final when we played the Dairy Castle final at Battlefield.
Yeah.
Dread came to me and he said, "Boy," he said, "we're gonna win this game," but him say, "We have to draw first blood. So you guys can't get on the back foot and make them score pound first." So right out the gates, Jelly. I remember we were behind the pavilion at Battlefield at practice. It was just light practice before the game, and him say, "First blood, boys, first blood." I would go out and boom, 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 boom. And 4 of them get right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that is just again leadership, the cohesiveness of the guys, and the brotherhood that we have. And even today, anywhere we go, and we're running a Luke or me and Luke communicate all the while, me and Tony, we're all connected. You know what I mean? And that brotherhood is something that boy carries way beyond Meadowbrook, man.
It's true, man, because I remember that we really gathered during the summer down by Evander and thing. I think I only play one competition down there, but I watched them play several competitions. More and I think more would flow up from down from Florida. And play the competition. I think Raymond came 1 year or 2 here also.
Yeah, Raymond came a couple of times. Yeah, I remember that.
Right. So,
I'm not talking with the competition in New York after we leave school.
After we leave school, right.
Yeah.
Right. We still had that team spirit that we call upon the guys and say, hey, Spencer Wang. Everywhere we go, Spencer Wang did the same way. Canada, Spencer Wang did the way.
But you mentioned something earlier, and you credited the Dread, and I'll say it, and I'll endorse it as well. And the Dread had Minot and Willie here, Stephen Williams, playing right wing at the time, and I could call it that they were programmed because their job was to just go down that wing in a man and drop it cross, and those 2 wingers played that position so right. So what I think the Dread had done with that team was that he had programmed everybody what their role was. And we pretty much fit that role. Because as I said, Raymond with his vision and twinkle toes, because him dance through the middle more time, I mean, not talk about blocking, just how he move. Him not try somebody and salad and pie like a look-up style, no. Him just get the ball and turn, and the ball just the ball and move, and him just whatever he's I don't know how him do it. Up to this day I can't explain it, as you can see. But he would do that, and then the gobbler is the engine. Twitter was the general as well.
Paul and Patrick were great, man.
Itchy, who's I heard his podcast the other day. Itchy was also good down the left twitter, man. You send that ball down there, Itchy, I go square it. And that was just their job because the Dread was teaching us English ball at the time.
But remember Luke, that time, sometime my ball go wide of the goal post and thing. And there was this guy named Lyndon Williams, man. Oh my God.
Lyndon,
Yeah, man. Him take a set for me. Him take a set for me. Stadium, how you do? And the goal if he scored, man. Ball had to go wide, and he took a set over that chance. But he inspired me and encouraged me all the time when he was shout at me and say, hey, a goal you want, and thing. What? I got a few goals, but I remember a match against Calabar. At Calabar, that time it's the guy named Brocky Barnes or something like that, and very skillful, him above everybody, at the coolest level at the time. Tell you, say him skillful and thing, and and then I broke down the team and I go through Tony Moore, go through Luke and boop, and I'm like, wow, this guy is good and thing, and it so happened that him, I got this ball and I go down the wing and him come tackle me, and he might come on, but I'm fast like him want knock me out now, and I was skillful also, so I flick the ball over him head and thing, and call him pile him right out on the flank and he run off. Yeah, man, run off of the field. And all of the Calabar guy, them start say, well, why the good man? Yeah, mark him.
Bowen is his name, yeah, right. Bowlhead was his nickname and Bowen was his right name, yeah.
Would it fearless? We were fearless.
I started to use Pace and Calabar now.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell him say Luke Carter, just give me the ball on the wing, man. I run it down. So if I run it down, we just square it over the someone. That's how we get to beat them. Yeah, man. Tactics on them, man.
Yeah.
Tactician with defined rules.
Yeah.
Very, very much defined rules, and he's a man. Let me tell you, it's just like you say. I heard you say this the other day to Jelly. It's a man where I learned so much from the dread. I'm gonna share something. Well, I'm not really talk about a lot. Luke know this story, but I'm gonna share this. So beyond the football, right? There was a point, like I'm telling you, in my life, in going through Meadowbrook, where my father got really sick, and eventually he died. You know what I mean? But it was traumatic for the family.
That's why they are going to
Yeah, man. Why am I going to financially, all kind of things. I mean, even one at a time, I said, boy, I wonder if my old lady going to make me have to stop with school because, you know what I mean? So, Mr. Here came to me one day. I don't know how he knew what was going on, Bridget. I don't know who put the bug in him here, but he called me in my office and say, I heard about what's going on with your dad. He say, if you need anything, let me know. And him say, are you going to play with us this year? So like Luke was saying, do that practice with the team. And then when it comes time to pick the squad and think I'm going to make the squad, I'm going to tell him, so boy, I dread my camp, I'm not going to play. And I say, boy, the one thing I'm going to ask you this year is you need to commit to the team. Mm-hmm. And that's the 1 year may end up playing Manning Cup because, you know, the dread basically say, boy, yeah. So boy,
that's the year before we won Walker Cup.
Well, the year before them with Walker Cup. So if you need boots, I'll get you a pair of boots, and I'm getting a pair of boots. And that is why you see, even though every year it may have this foundation, I'm send boots go to Jamaica because I remember that. And you know, the idea of paying it forward and remembering what somebody did for you and doing that for somebody else is something that's really important to me. So, well, I'm big up the dread for that. I mean, I know if I'm listening to these podcasts that you do, but I just want to thank him if he's listening because I remember that vividly.
We were so excited to have you playing on the team, Raymond, because I was playing 83, 84. And in 85, when you decided to play on the team, I was one of the most excited person. I think Tony Moore was on it too. And we were like, yes, Raymond going to play. Yeah, we were so happy to know that because you had taken a hiatus from the game from 82 with that Colts team. And then we don't see you, but we know so you can play because you play during, you know, we see you at school. And for you to come back now, 85 and play, we were like, yes, we have a good team. And we did have a good team. We put a good run that year.
So, yeah, man, we had a good team.
I never know this, you know. I'm glad this has come out, you know, because based on what you're saying, Luke, Raymond really undersell himself, you know. Because Raymond...
Absolutely.
Raymond undersell himself big time, you know. But for family circumstances, and you mentioned the church circumstances, Raymond would have been an excellent standout athlete, football player for Meadowbrook, would have contribute far more than with the record throw, but for that. Because and so much years him not play Luke. And I say, yes. No, I'm glad you get a chance to come talk about this because you when you call me, you know, the man name you mentioned, you know, I have to ask you this, you know, right? I have to ask you this. That was one of the best ball I've ever seen at Meadowbrook, you know, right? Robert Salter. And me want to know why Salter never developed and went on to become a big-time Manning Cup player. What happened? He never interested in the game or...
Girls are not interested. I think that was his thing.
And what you
think? I think Salter just played for fun while he was at Meadowbrook. I think he just played for the fun of it.
He never realized how good he is.
He got involved with a lot of girlfriends.
Yeah.
I think he knew he was good. Can I tell you something? So, again, Salter is a Hills man. Salter live at Cooper's Hill, live at Rockall, literally 4 or 5 miles away from West Palm, he live, right? And when they come to Corner League and them I'm used to Salter all the while, them come Rockall, come play ball with me all the while. The man have skill. The man have skill come out and pours, man. So turn from the ball.
Instead of speculate and think, get in touch with him.
Pull him in, man. Get
He's MIA. I reached out to his party with Hugh Lindsay, and Hugh Lindsay same though I've been in touch with him for the past 5 years.
Yeah, man, it looked like Steve.
No man, talk with Spencer. Spencer want to have a link with him, man.
Well, don't forget that because follow up with that, Loki, because this is how Raymond Salter. Raymond reached out and said, "Me need to get Robert Salter," and I agree because I remember Salter From first, I remember Salta.
Yeah, I would like to hear his story too, because I never really got. But what I know is that we never see him playing, but yet still, you would see him in some corner in a Meadowbrook, it's up with a little girl cuddling.
That's the man. That's the man.
And I'm like, Salta, come on, man, you can't just put on the girl change a minute. And him just never find the time for the ball thing after calls.
You're right,
never
after
find the
the
ball.
coach, exactly. That's the point. That's what I mean. In a sense, matter, but Raymond was missing in action for different reasons. Because Raymond
Right.
had circumstances, from the circumstances and real circumstances, he just couldn't find the time for play. And financially, he couldn't find the time for play. So, I'm glad you talk about this, Raymond. Excellent. I wouldn't have known this at all. I would not have known this at all.
Yeah, part of the challenge. Let me tell you something though, and this is probably something that hasn't been said. I think Oral said this when Oral and Timon said this when they came on, right? Part of the challenge with living up on the mountain, up on the hilltop like we did, was after like about 9 o'clock, the bus now running. You understand me? So if the 9 o'clock bus gone left you, dog near your supper, right? You have to go find a way to reach home.
And this is 9 o'clock in the morning at our Raymond.
No, man.
Night bus, okay.
9
got you.
p.m.
Wait for go home, yeah.
So if it's going to evening time, and even and so think about this too. Even if more time we used to have to walk, my master and them used to walk from bottom hill, go foot of the hill, but then not even foot of the hill. We walk, go up the hill another 2-3 miles in order to catch the bus, because the bus not stop at foot of the hill.
It can't stop, Raymond. It can't stop. It can't hold nobody else.
Yeah, man, hang out of the door, or hang out of the window, all kind of thing, and the only way you get, if you don't get a ride home, you're soft. You know what I mean? So it's just a challenge, And
hold on, Raymond. Let me clarify that. No, I see you know, Loki. It was not a challenge, That's why the Hillsman them fitter than everybody else,
Yes, man. Yeah.
Them more conditioned. That's why them punch harder than them weight, It's like physically look. There's nobody no fitter than them, Think about it, No. Nobody now fitter than them naturally, because if I walk up a rock and race every night because of the bus situation. You can't compete with that, Loki. You can't compete.
Let me tell you what me see with my own two eyes. Because me and them on stadium used to walk, go down at the foot of the hill. And me and stadium would sit down for Bum Drive, for go down Perkins Boulevard.
Of course.
And we would see the rock man them go across the road and wait for the bus. And yes, when the bus no stop, the man them run behind the bus to the next bus stop. I'm not telling you, do that every day. Of course, they must get fitted that way. Running behind the bus. Well, I know. Sometimes they have to go 2-3 bus up before them catch it. And man told you that.
Where's the man run on the bus?
Up the hill,
Loki, yes, that on the flat, yeah.
I don't just know. But you run down the bus and your bag full of mango. Because
Yeah.
you just don't read the word.
Yeah.
Just what Willie tell you, that the mango trees in the like about Meadowbrook with the mango trees up there. Yes, that is true. That is Willie too.
Well,
on the compound, I've never eaten a ripe mango from from the compound, from the school itself. I always forgot people.
The neighbors down the bottom field.
Right.
Iron pipe. Yeah.
For some reason that those trees don't bear.
No,
I've
the never beer
eaten.
Meadowbrook. I when them beer, I look like the growth man that pick them up before we can see them. Because I never see a mango ripe on them today yet at all, like that, Steve.
True, man.
But by the way, Steve, you mentioned Tamir, Luke, and Raymond mentioned a couple of times. Where you get the nickname from? Stadium?
Actually, I invented a board game and I named it Steven Stadium. And during the summer, I invited children around the area to play it. We had track and field, we had football and all that, and it was a board game, and I wrote Steven Stadium on it. So, the guys them in the area and the girls them, they call me, them see the name on it, and them call me Steven Stadium. So when I started Meadowbrook now, and I have friends from doing the park going to Meadowbrook, they knew me as Steven Stadium. They didn't know my name, that I named Stephen Williams.
Okay.
So they call me Steven Stadium. So everybody in Meadowbrook started to call me Steven Stadium.
And then how did it migrate to Stadium, gal?
And that me want to know.
Stadium.
How the gal part come in, Stephen?
Because
Tell about
that was like when we start get popular with the girls.
Stephen, if you answer that, don't have to behind the paid wall podcast, but them go ahead.
Well, actually, that was another little salsa too. When you would see him in certain corners with the girls.
Yeah.
Is that not a little mini salt of that? I tell you.
Look, I know that, don't worry. Steve knows I know that, so don't worry about that. So I know Steve's reputation, so don't worry about that. I know that, Lucas.
Every after school picture that you see with Stephen Stadium, him holding a girl.
Yeah, man.
And it's not the same way like me and you would hold a girl.
Let me put that way at you. Steve was at my wedding, you know.
Okay.
Because Stephen, the girl I did at the time was my wife, good friend. They used to go to school together. Yeah. So Steve's reputation larger than Meadowbrook, man. So we know what I say.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
I think we're going to just leave it to his accolades at Meadowbrook, because if we go into anything more personal, it becomes crazy.
That's what I said. Them things that behind the paid wall.
That's more like dear pastor.
Behind the paid wall conversation. Yeah, for pay for hear them conversation and pay if you get it off, as Kevin Barnes said me say. Jealous about the conversation, you pay for hear it, and if you hear it, I want to come off if you pay for take it off. I was saying
I want to say something about Raymond, because Raymond cannot see Raymond out of the eyes of Raymond. So you have to hear it from the other guys, which me myself was one of them that look up to Raymond, as we said before. But there was something about Raymond. When Raymond are playing, if Raymond going to tackle and the socks shift, Raymond have to stop and straighten it up back. And the small player that, you see, even if the ref now watch if your shirt and your shorts, Raymond's shirt well tucked in. And halftime, you see, you have your hand down on the shirt and you fold it over. I saw Raymond always just a fold over him shirt. And the neatest youth, man. But I watch him, because I look up to him from a long time still.
Yeah, man. Likewise, Luke. Likewise. The first, I tell Luke Alwell, the first time I see him, never see him play. I knew when I saw him play that day that he was going to be a special person for the school if he decided to play for the school. Remember, Rain a fall a top field. Gentlemen, I don't know if you remember, right across from which one was that top house used to be, where the principal's residence used to be. We used to have some wooden posts up a top field.
Yeah, man. Remember that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And Luca play center and a ball come over, but him back turn to the ball. He might face him own goal, And the ball come over, I don't know how him adjust his body to do a bicycle in the ear. I tell you the whole play, rain a fall and the place packing up. Everybody around the field I watch the game. And the whole place just erupt when him do that. So blows and who that look at you there, right? Who that look at you there, right?
Yeah.
Talented man. But I think part of the whole thing about just appearance and discipline was kind of part of my DNA, because of number one, the church. Number two, I was, my parents instilled a way for discipline. So I'm sure most parents did, but my parents, my old man is that kind of person, boy, I take my talk, right? So you kind of have to walk the narrow path, and then Mr. here with his influence again about discipline, cause but now I will call the name still, but I remember when I played Colts, Mr. here, we had a player on the team, and the man, I'm a virgin this still me talk about, so we'll pull him up in a way. I mean, I'll call him name, but we're playing a game and Dread benched the man. And because Dread benched the man, we played the game and we lose the game. And the man started cheering for the opposing team.
What?
It's practice Dread. So listen, man. Unless you provide a written, and you're going to write it, but then you're going to read it to the whole team. You're going to provide a written apology to the team. You can't join the team again.
But him right about that, Moonwana man up on my team. I don't if someone talk about it before. I just said that. Because what you really say, it's like, and this happened to Manchester United this week when Cristiano Ronaldo walk off of the team.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's not right.
Him couldn't play for the Dread.
Yeah, that's not right.
He would have out of the team. No care how much money or what kind of superstars him. He would not play again for my team. I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah. If you cheer for the other team.
Same way, I said, Lucas.
That don't make sense.
No.
How did I miss this? Did I know about this?
Don't tell him, Raymond. I'll be here, I'm going to bring it up. I'll bring it up all the time.
Yeah, that's tackle him on the hard, not training.
Yeah, man, you have to put it down on him, Luke. Exactly. Because I say him not belong on Meadowbrook at all.
No, man.
You just get benched.
Under no circumstances.
Anyway, my
But,
Max.
but
Yeah, go ahead, Raymond. Sorry.
no, I'm just kind of wrapping up that part of the conversation to say the influence. So, we talk about these things in the context of high school, but for me, these are life lessons. You
Yeah.
understand me?
Yeah.
I carry all of these things, in my journey, my personal life, my business life, and it's made an indelible imprint.
Yeah.
I mean, I know if Luke and Stephen feel the same way, but a lot of these things, the idea that even when we lose, sometime, Dread say, well, take some risk, we'll push forward. And Itchy Burke, you're going to play wide on the wing, but want to score the ball in early. Don't wait till you get to the byline, score the ball in early. And shake up the other thing, because them not expect that, right?
Change the strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, take risks. So you think about, it's okay to take risks, and if you fail, at least you learn something. You understand me? Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's all about the team for the dream, man. But me ask you to wonder something, because I can't let it slip by me and ask you something, because Stephen to one of that school at the time. When Meadowbrook finally win a big trophy, when we win the Sunlight in 1982, when you first save, because you say your brother used to go Calabar, and a Calabar beaten in the final. How did that make you feel when Meadowbrook finally beat up a big school and big up a big trophy?
I felt great because I could have mouth him.
Finally,
Yeah,
you have something for him.
And tease them, and it was a big thing at home. And I say, boy, they will know how them lose the match and thing. And I say, a better team win and thing. So it was just like that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the next day I got caning because I called school to go watch a match. And listening abstinence, and Miss McLennan caned me the next day. Me and Kenneth Campbell.
He actually did the match and get punishment feet. Yep. So he used to follow up the team.
I'm going to jump on that because that's a good segue. So me almost get caned into him.
What do you mean? For the match the same way?
No, not for the same match, but that's why I want to kind of interject this because I think it's kind of important. So, but this was probably 1980, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a sports day at Bottomfield, and Mr. Top, it was 1979, because Mr.
Top had left.
Yeah, 1979, and sports day, and me and my brother Robert Jones say, we're not gonna eat at sports day. We're not gonna sports day. We're gonna stay up here and play some table tennis and thing. And some man the day in the auditorium, I paint the assembly hall, right? We would take down the board, get the racket, them and then I play TT and thing, and everything nice. Next day we come to school and we're in a class, and a prefect come at the door and say, boy, Mr. Thorpe would like to see Mr. Robinson and Mr. Jones. This is about him. Say no. Him say, all right, we're gonna just go in and whatever I'm asked, we're gonna speak the truth. So, and I like to call you with or nothing, but we just go. We're gonna go in my office, and I don't know if you ever go in Mr. Top office yet, but they have two rotted German Shepherd.
Yeah.
We sit down right hand desk.
Yeah, man.
And then right behind the desk, we have a big bucket with cans of all shape and size.
Yeah, man.
All right. And the office dark, so the man, say, so now me afraid so I'll get beaten out because usually the only time in blinds them get drawn when somebody will get beaten.
Yeah, man. Right? Yeah, man. Get up and draw blinds.
So the place dark, dim lit, and table light on, and we see the dog, them I look for we like them one ham way and thing, and him say, I'd like to speak to both of you, but I want to speak to you individually. And him send me out and talk to Robert first, and Robert come out, and Robert not send out to me, just walk past me. So, but I see nobody get caned, so I go back and see where I go. So I go inside now, and him say, where were you yesterday? I tell him. Him said, did you at any point in time encounter a wallet with so much money in the wallet? I said, no, sir. Him said, do you know if Mr. Jones encountered a wallet, with so much? I said, no, sir, I'm not aware. He said, why weren't you at sports day? So, make up some some story. And him say, all right. Him say, listen, this is the last time you're gonna miss sports day. Yeah. Him say, this is the last time. Him say, one of the workmen had their wallet stolen, and you were the only two persons that were in that auditorium. Him say, the message here is, when the school has an event, go to the event, right? Him say, go back to your classroom. And him say, I don't believe you took the wallet, so it's okay. We'll figure something out. But nearly get beaten, man. Nearly get cane, brethren. And fear me to death. Never miss another sports day after that, for real.
You became an astute 1500 runner.
Yeah. Track and field after that, Luke. After that scare there, yeah.
1500 runner after that.
Yeah. So how did that victory make you feel, Raymond? You did at school longer than Stephen and Luke. When Meadowbrook finally win a big trophy?
But I felt like I had won something. It didn't feel like Meadowbrook. It feel like, because, so think about this. So Marston was on that side. I think Noel Curtis was on that side. I think Timon was on that side. So it felt like us. You understand what I say?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was a great feeling.
I think Sims was on that side too, wasn't he?
Who that? Sims?
Sims.
Yeah, man, Gary Sims was on that side.
Gary Sims. Gary Sims
was on that side. But so where I say, yeah, it's not like you're going with man with play up on the side every evening then, Raymond.
Yeah, man. And you see them in the community every day. So them man, they come like, and those are some of the heroes that I had anyway. Like, Timon was a well-known person in the community. Fanso, Noel Curtis was a well-known person in the community, and of course, Marston was my contemporary. So it was great, man. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, man. That was the turning point in a certain way. So yeah. But may I ask you something, Steve? Because this I move on now to in terms that say because you played the Colts team, and for some reason, I never hear him call up after that. It's like you never wasn't a part of the team that transitioned into the great Walker Cup team at the 1985 and 86. Did you stop playing football or get up or left school?
Good question.
No, man. I stopped because of political violence in my era, and I couldn't be out too late. You know, there was all of that gunshotting during the park, and you know, and where I lived was like the borderline, and where frequent murder and shooting go on. So I had those to reach home before dark,
yeah.
Right, and you know, I couldn't chance being out there training and all of that. So
you realize that Luke is a two talent now, not take themselves. Circumstances make them out of the talent pool. So Meadowbrook had well long before that, you know. You realize what I said? Because I never know that, you know, Steve. Because I one day, me and man called Steve, and I said, Steve, was a member of the Colts team. I say, how come Steve never go on to play with the Manning Cup team and be a part of it?
I started off 84. I started training for the Manning Cup team 84, and then the political violence get so bad that, hey, I said, no, hell no, I'm not going to stay out there. So, you know, I used my time because I was the president of a police youth club, Patrick Garden Police Youth Club. I put more emphasis on doing work with the police and youths in the area. So, you know, that's how my life ended.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense, Steve. I didn't know that at all. I did not know that.
I played a whole of the league because I played the police league, both cricket and football, you know, and I get to travel all over the country playing cricket and all of that. So, you know.
I did the same thing. I played police. A man can't brand new.
Right. I was under the protection of the police all the time. So a few of us here represented the youth clubs, police youth club, and we're all over the place.
Yes,
I never know that even. Never know that.
So Meadowbrook's last was the police game. So yeah. Because
something that we probably should think about as we think about what is the future of the school. And you know, I'm glad that we have a bus now, a bus that can take students, especially if you're doing things on behalf of the school. And you know, I don't know how much them help students in the corporate area get home in the evenings, but I mean, you know, that's certainly something that we should look at going forward. You know what I mean? Or we can help some of that, because obviously you see how the school loses when students have circumstances that them can't control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And them, them can't get home. So,
And
it's probably
sometimes
something that we should
I live in politics side of Raymond. Sometimes I just can't afford it. I just can't afford it.
can't afford it.
Talented.
Can't
Yeah,
afford it.
yeah.
But if I'm reaching by a certain time, I'm not getting no food to eat. Them have liquor brother and sister them have to look after and all them things. That's a good idea.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Steve. I'm glad I asked you the question. I did not
Yeah,
know
man.
that.
And yeah, the training was kept too late and things. So mainly after school daytime, if I didn't want to go home that early, I had ISCF, Inter-School Christian Fellowship, which I joined. Peter Champagne was the leader then. He was in my class or my year at the time, and we had fellowship. We have good Christian fellowship. So, and then after that, I would head home maybe a hour or two after. So not that long training after 6 and 7. I tried it, but come here, look, you walk go down to the out and go bum drive or walk, go straight down and all of that. But when Luke leave me at Meadowbrook Estate, and me for go through Brook Valley, and that's a different scenario that. And because I live at the borderline with Shakespeare and Brook Valley and Sherlock and all that. So if me walk on that side and go in, the most of me a spy, I carry news and thing. In fact, I got beaten up twice for nothing at all. Man just knocked me out with gun. And so.
No, and doing the part became far more politicized after the 1980 elections. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Steve. And you see the funny thing about it, you say, when you're cold stage under 16, you can't do that and get away with it, But see, by the time you start man up, you're a big man, you become 4th, 5th, and 6th farmer. The man I look for you as a little boy in the morning, look for you as a threat. So you couldn't walk where you could have walked before without a problem, And that's the unfortunate situation in Jamaica. Fortunately for me and for Luke, we never forgot through them zone if we go home at all. I mean, was and then our year I never politicized like that. So it is one unfortunate thing, and I did not know that, Steve. I did not know that.
I did play a little bit of it, because some of the guys from Patrick City knew that I could play, and they would just turn up at my house and say, "Hey, we have a game later, Connolly, and you're playing for my team." And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, because Boogie used to come tell me, me and mine at Boogie used to come tell me, so we play for him team. Boogie don't ask me, Boogie say, "Listen, I have you for my team, and we have a game Sunday, so we need a third." You just have to say yes, because area done,
You can't ask me at all. Yeah.
The only way I got out of one of it was that I got my eyes. Somebody jumped back and hit me under my eye, bust my eye, so I get stitches, so I never have to go back.
Yeah. From a man where you can't play them run the area and just come tell you say you have to come play.
You really can't. And the man himself coming in, send message to the man himself. You can't tell the man himself, no. Especially if you don't have nothing to do. So you just have to do with it.
Yeah. Unless you have a next money cup match for a player or something. You can't tell him to know.
Right.
A money cup not play on Sunday when Corner League play. So
No.
You don't have no good excuse at all. No.
I think that's summer, during the summer, and they really do this, though.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand them thing that okay. I mean, as I say, my father, I never go through that at Permacal at all. See, I said, because Permacal never became politicized like on that talk about Patrick City and doing it. Permacal was, you could have walked through anywhere in a Permacal, and the man asked you which P you vote for or whatever. Permacal was
politically.
Yes, exactly.
But living across that bridge, I was in fear of walking across that bridge to Pembrokeshire. So Pembrokeshire, we look on Pembrokeshire as a different place still.
Depends on which side of Pembrokeshire you go do.
Yes, but it's still Pembrokeshire.
Well, maybe because I live in the area, I never feel away that time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I have lived in Pembrokeshire for years, so I could have walked anywhere at time. I understand what I mean.
Yeah, from the outside, we look on it different.
Yeah, man, I understand.
That's like how Raymond thinks he wasn't a star. From the outside, we look at it different.
Yeah, that's true. I never look on the way. You're right, Loki. Because me come from inside of Pembrokeshire, I never look on no, but from the inside. But you're right. You're right. Somebody look from the outside, we have a different talk and different feeling about Pembrokeshire. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
you're right about that.
Kind of want to add something to. One of the things we haven't touched on is the fact that Richie Lodge was also a phenomenal part of it.
Oh my gosh, it's a second story to Salter.
Yeah. So when you talk about contemporaries within Luke's year, when in a Luke time, right? And even in our time, because I play with him, right? So just amazing talent, man. On the ball, man. Off the ball, man. And I wish he was more. The one thing we never have was just the fitness. If we have fitness, trust me, man. If it
No, it's not just fitness, you know. It's a lazy approach.
Is that what?
No,
Commitment to the to
it's
whoever
a
sport.
commitment and a lazy approach.
Yeah.
But once the ball reach him foot, you know, him no lazy no more, you know.
No.
General.
It's half the ball work.
General.
You're right. It's half the ball work him not do at all.
Yeah, right. It's a lazy approach. It's not fitness. Because him will play the ball and kick the ball and score. I play with him 83 and 84, you know, man. And the man score some goal that look like some star goal, you know, man.
Yeah, man.
Remember him match up the champion, you know, man. I must have 2 him put in a day, you know, man.
Yeah, man.
You understand?
Yeah, man.
So,
And full disclosure, I don't know if Luke, you might know this. I don't know if you know this, Raymond or Stephen. Richard Lodge, my cousin. I come in to call him Liquor Prince.
Come on, I know that.
We know that.
I think we know that.
You follow me? I said
We
to you.
all thought you were brothers. We thought you and Patrick and Richie was brothers.
Well, him grow like a liquor brother. Him grow like a liquor brother. So it wasn't. Cause grew up in the same area we grew up in at Permacal. And born at Permacal, the same area we grew up in at 66 Calbeck Avenue. So Richie play ball from my youth, you know. And on the right about that, you know. Him assault at the par to par, you know. Him takes a little further than assault in terms of him we can play Manning Cup. You follow me? I said to you. But I think in my mind, you know, this is just my opinion. What happened to him? 1 year, I think it was 82. Right? Richie got play a minor league match. I think I Meadowbrook him a play for her, Medieval,
yeah, man.
and he broke him on.
Right.
After that, he became a different player. And
Him plot over the ball too much.
yeah. After that, him did fearless before that, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when I work and I run out, but you see after that, him start think, and him never became the same player. I'm still deadly, you know, but he wasn't the same player at all because I broke him on. I mean, that man broke them foot and it's like he became a different player too. You follow me? I said to you, but you're right. Him could have. Yeah. I one of the most talented footballer I've ever seen come a Meadowbrook, man.
Talented, man. Talented.
You can't tell me that, man. With the ball, when you have the ball on the foot, man, you can't take it off fine, man.
Not so easy at all.
No, and I'm more than competent cricketer too, but him does never take it serious.
That too, yeah.
Put that way. Me never walk in the talent through the Richie Lodge job, man. Me know say me, I just Raymond at top of below par. Me know me say myself for that journey, man, but me just a play. I love the game. I'm gonna try hard. If me have the talent, you see me I said to you, me never have the talent to Richie have or a Patrick have in terms of football or cricket, but me just work hard. I just love the game. So yeah.
One of the few schoolboy footballers who score upon the great Spider-Man for Jamaica, you know.
Oh, Richie?
Yeah.
When am I play for
Camperdown? I think, yeah, Camperdown, right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boss Camperdown, John, man.
Come on, Richie.
And if you talk to Richie, he might tell you, oh, me, score for Spider-Man, Jamaica keeper. You know,
yeah.
No, them know him hurt. And himself will tell you, boy, if me don't take the ball thing serious.
Yeah, man.
It's a lazy approach. It's not fitness, you know.
No, not fitness. You're right, Luke. If him
didn't have fitness, it's not because him not fit and him did want to play.
I'm could I get fit, yeah.
Right. No, him just lackadaisical towards it.
Yeah. If him take the ball serious, right? I'm never know another Permacal man when they come a big time Jamaican football. I'm play for Dental. They and Messi Wilmot. It's a right. It's a yeah, man. It's a Richard to take the football as serious as Messi. But I probably better than Messi. That's my opinion. But Messi used to work. You follow me? I said, nobody will work as hard as how Messi work. I mean, there are Permacal and Messi at work and work out and all them things. If Richard take it away, okay, trust me, man. Meadowbrook could have win a more trophy before that, man, because he never take it the level when could have take it. You see what I said to you? It's a mental thing and a lackadaisical thing. So, but I'm telling him that all the while. That's why I'm not heard from him. I say, if you ever are serious and take the ball serious, like how me take the cricket serious. You see what I said to you?
Yeah.
Raymond, which Colts team you did play on? Did you play on the Candy Stripe Colts team with Kevin Wasp? And I think
Kevin who?
Kevin, oh my gosh, we can't remember his last name. No, we call him Wasp. All right, Camel Welch.
The team when we did on had Charlie Bob did on the side there.
Right. It's a Candy Stripe.
Norman we also had Norman Nar was on that side there.
Yeah.
We had Dirk Noir was on that side there. It was a good team. It was a good team.
And I believe Richie.
Richie was on that team, too.
Salter and one of the Gobbler. I mean, for both of the Gobbler. I think Richie and Salter was also drafted up because they were so standout in my under 13 team that they were drafted up in a jelly.
Yeah,
So I knew that Raymond
yeah.
at the time was on that Colts team.
Yeah, man. You're right about that, Luke.
Yeah, man, my salt would so good. I probably call some first farm or second farm. You're right about
Yes,
that.
that's what was happening.
You're right
They were
about
drafted up.
They were very good. They were very a cut above them age group in terms of that at that age. Man,
Far, head and shoulders above us.
without a doubt. But my ask the 200 something now. So Raymond, you say you weren't a part. You never did school when Meadowbrook and Walker Cup in 1986.
No, them then I'm at work at the traffic court. But
Okay.
I was following all of the games, through the media and things like that. I was so proud of the guys, man. And I think I saw one game at Stadium East. I think one of the games they played. But yeah,
That was the Calabar.
yeah.
That was the Calabar game.
So-
1-2-1, I think.
Two questions then, me I gotta ask you. Two questions. Were you surprised that Meadowbrook actually finally win a big time football trophy?
No, Bertrand.
No, I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah, remember me I talked to, right? So
yeah. You
me-
I'm gonna ask the same question, Steve. Me I come to you.
Yeah. Me don't have in my estimation, right? There was absolutely no fear. And to the quality of the ball that the guys were playing, naturally it was so beautiful to watch. It's like Luke was talking about, you can't see yourself play, right?
Yeah.
But then I just stand and I watch them on them. I mean, I watch Twitter, I make some blows and prop pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch Bobby tear down the wing, and man, it was amazing to watch, man. Amazing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I tell you, to me, are the best schoolboy football team I've personally ever seen in terms of just the way the man them move the ball. It don't look like schoolboy football. Like now, watch some of the stuff now we're going to Jamaica with the Manning Cup we're going right now. I joke think that compared to the team where Luke that Luke and them took to the finals and won Walker Cup, joke think that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
me add from what you said a while before jumping in, Steve. Let me say this about that, but what you said a while ago, I agree with that. I think I said this earlier in one of them podcasts there. One of the football team is to play as good as a Meadowbrook team there in 1985. Was the 1977 Clarendon College team with Lenny Hyde, Denden Hutchinson, and a great team there. Drew Naskill and all them man there. The ball in them play with them destroy Calabar here in a Olivia Shield a stadium. I never see a football team play so good. Man talk about the KC 65 team, I never see them. So I can't talk about them. It's like man I talk about Maradona and Pele. I never see Pele. But I see Maradona. I mean I say the best ball I ever see. You follow me I say to you?
Yeah.
So apart from
How many games you watched?
yeah. We not talk about the TV thing. Mr. Maradona live, mash up England twice with the hands of God, and Maradona was a great. So what may I say now? The 77 team that did good, Loki, and it just the only team that better than Uno was a 70. I don't know if anyone will say 77.
No, I didn't.
Team.
But
Right.
my question to you is, how many games in 86 you watched?
No, man, watch a whole heap of the game, them, man. Watch a whole heap of the game, them. Watch the run up to the Walker Cup finals, man. When I know
Yeah, but that's what I never said the last games them only because I knew we were playing well from beginning.
No,
It's
right.
just that we were not clicking. It's like the goals weren't scoring, but they weren't scoring against us either. So we were drawing games.
I probably come all of the
right.
match, I'm Luke. If I remember, me and Buffy and Richard come do all of the match. The Manning Cup.
Right.
Hey,
true,
oh my God, Buffy, but can't forget Buffy.
You want to talk about the great.
We'll let out
Great
the
Buffy,
name,
the
you know.
great
We'll let out the name.
Leon Chambers. That's that name?
Great,
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Leon
yeah,
Chambers.
Yeah.
great Buffy, man.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things, like, so when you talk about teams and you talk about chemistry, I mean, Stephen can add his piece to this, but again, as I want to re-emphasize this, I think the guys were unafraid. And if you play football or play any sport without fear, it's hard to beat you by youth. I don't know, a man will come way better than you to beat you if you play without fear. You're right. You play within yourself and you play without fear, and that's what it looked like to me. The man them just they felt
Raymond,
they knew how
you
well
were
they
a
were.
part of that core. You were a part of that core. Willie, you were a part of a winning team too. And you know that when we go out there, the dread always tell us we can win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we start within ourselves. So you're right. There was no fear. We never look up to no big team. We never ever did. We always knew we could beat them.
especially when I bought the big bad pad cover from JC, and I'm like, wow.
But what I'm,
Mike,
before you answer Steve, I'm mention this about Buffy, because I'm not talking about fearless. I don't want about more fearless than Buffy, whether just mouth alone or what. Because it's like going to have Buffy on the side and defend you. No care where you're going now. Buffy are going to take
Pure
on.
vibes, man.
Yeah.
Pure vibes.
I don't know me attack. I know me attack with Buffy. It's like,
Yeah, man. Pure
yeah,
vibes.
yes, yes.
Full of vibes. Full of vibes.
Man, would I think of him run jungle when them.
yeah, man, yeah, man.
And when you look at him face, man, the way the man have a rock face with him buff.
Yeah, man,
it's like,
Buffy, yeah, man.
You believe him, bad. You believe him.
Yeah, man. You can't, no man, nobody him with a mouth, Loki. You can't take him on that time.
Nobody believes him from Meadowbrook Estate, upper middle class Meadowbrook Estate.
guess
But I think
you're
that's down which part Willie, in my Willie neighbor or something.
But the care of Buffy going on. Buffy, I can get the impression like him know somebody in the area. I'm run the area this time, right? Okay. But go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. So how you feel, say, you weren't surprised that Meadowbrook went time to go in Walker Cup in 1985? And
No, I wasn't. It was in the making since 1982 and going on, because
you were, by the way, Steve, sorry, were you at school at the time still?
No.
Yeah, left school already. Okay.
left
Yeah, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
So it was a build up apart from a couple of importees, but there were still a team, togetherness and that. And Luke was still there, the Gobblers were still there, and a couple of other guys were still there. So I wasn't surprised, and I saw it in them when I think I watched the last Manning Cup match in '85. I saw that they had the potential to win. And with Luke being the type of captain that he is, I wasn't surprised. Yeah.
Thank you, Willie. However, for the records, I think y'all thought I was the captain on the '86 team. I was not.
But I think
it was Patrick Gobler and it was Patrick Gobler and Bobby Smith.
But I think what Steve say, and I attest to that, is almost like the leadership we provide.
Leadership, man. Yeah,
the leadership we provide, it's like, man, I look on, but the leadership and the hard work where you get, it's like, man, I look on you as the leader for the team in some way. Not say you were
Well, while I was playing, he was my leader. So
yeah. That's what I mean. And that Steve not talk about. It's like sometimes you have the official name brand, not name brand. You have the appointed leader, and you have the word them having a lot, I think, is the draw leader. The leader who is in fact the leader upon the field. Because you have the captain. You see me I say to you? You have it's like in law, you have the leader and they have the man who actually run the place and run the team.
Jelly, great example on that. Look at how the guy from older took over the T20 side and started to put bowler the other night against in the T20 competition. So that type of leader, because he find out the young leader didn't know what he was doing, so he stood tall.
He might not captain of the team, but him come up and step up as a leader, right.
No, you guys are right. We had a couple of co-captains on that team.
Yeah, man.
Bobby, Tippy, the two Gobblers, and myself, we all spoke together. And we were like the core of the team in terms of decision making.
And that's the
point. We would bounce off each other. So, you're right.
And you mentioned something important, Luke. I think it's like, we glass over, it's like, because the chemistry of the team was so good, it's like it never matter, Say 3 or 4, I call the shots, No ego never there at all, No ego at all. It's like leadership, all about the feel, A man that respect all on, no matter what talk, a man I go respect,
Yeah.
And that was the reason for the chemistry and the winning so much of the trophy them. The same thing by the cricket team. And the same thing by the cricket team. You have a captain, but you have the man around the team and the followers them sometimes, man, I follow the team, and especially in the cricket more than the football. Because you could attack, so the team was a big thing, man. The team and the
three real leaders was the Smiths. The 3 Smiths were the real leaders for that team. The 3.
I was just gonna say that, Luke. It's funny that you and I were thinking along the same way, Ben, because I was just gonna say and interject and say, for the best footballers I've ever played with, Paul and Patrick Smith. You might tell you. Just, I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about, there's players that when them get the ball, them can be 2-3 guys. I'm not talking about that kind of footballer. I'm not talking about understanding space on the field knowing where to come back, how to defend, right? And then when you get a break, how to execute on the break, man, those guys are, I don't know
Man, they're
when
team players, man.
special guys, man. Special guys, both of them.
And I could
Meadowbrook was very lucky
I
to
could
have
see
him.
Raymond and Willie on that team. Believe you me. I could see Raymond and Willie on that team.
And you know, as them talk about the guys like them, you know, the amazing thing about them is the humility of them youth there, you know. Them good, you know.
Yeah, man.
But it's like them not come and with no ego at all, none at all, you know. Them come for work, see me, and set the example and the pace, you know. It's like the leadership from them was second to none, man. Second to none. But let me ask you a question, Raymond, because not a half topic. But when Marston as a Hillsman captain the 84 Sunlight team to win, how did that make you feel? And as a Hillsman, I take Meadowbrook.
So, I'm going to show you a thing. So, me and Marston tight, even till today, you know. My bridging that. Bona fide bridging that. So, even though he was the captain of the team, more time, me and him would have get together, and them used to have a flowers farm right around the road from which farm he lived. Our old flowers farm. But they converted to now a little football field, and sometimes the man in the community that play cricket over there. And one time, me and him just meet up, because him live at one end of the community, me live at another end, and we just meet up there, so you know, make up kind of. And him have a board bat, the man cut out some 2x4, right? I may have a couple ball, I may have a couple grapefruit, and we'll put some stick in the ground, and we just play cricket, you know what I mean? And more time I just me and him one out there. Or maybe we have another virgin that we used to move with the name Clifton Lichmore, also a Meadowbrook man, who used to hang with me as well. But
my classmate.
None of those things surprised me. Like because I knew the ability of these guys, right? I mean, Marston, highly intellectual, smart, intelligent, and him know the game of cricket. He used to read. Marston somebody used to read books on cricket, you know.
Like myself,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Those are things that
that defines the difference.
Yeah, go ahead,
Steve.
Steve.
It made a difference.
Raymond was just saying about masters, well, you know, how them still with the link up and so. I remember when Luke was living in the Bronx, you know, and like a Thursday night, Luke would call me and say, "Stadium, we could go to Canada tomorrow." No, that time we have no plans on going to Canada, you know. And we leave out from Friday night, a drive over, the 7-8 hour drive over, and we have a match early, 8 o'clock in Saturday morning. Yeah, and you know, it was a joy run, and we had about like from the cold steam, it was about 3 or 4 of us, because there was Spencer Wang, Luke, myself.
Tony Moore would join us sometime. I don't think he came to Canada though, but he would come to the Bronx sometimes, and we would play in the Bronx as well.
Oh, Moore.
Yeah, Tony Moore. Yeah,
Tony Moore came in the Bronx, right?
Yeah, more good thing about Tony still. I don't know if I know this. I think Luke know this, but I don't know if you know this. But so when they were playing the Colts that run the Met for Colts and go finals and lose the KC, I was at every game, and mainly because I wanted to support the guys, but love the guys. I mean, I'm a virgin. The whole of them are a virgin. So, but Tony in particular, I have a special relationship with Tony where even if we don't see him for 10 years, I met him to talk for 10 years, and met him talk, it's like time has not passed. You understand? Before every game is a man where boy, him always have to have a plum seed. In that mode.
Yeah. That is something I'm watching for you.
I was the designated plum seed man, so I'm gonna find plum. You know, bottom fields used to have to hold up a plum tree them at the bottom. That's right. So I do all of them play at Tivoli and things. Plum seed, plum seed.
Yeah, it quells his nervousness because him underrate himself to a point, you know.
Yeah, because him knows him talent, you know. Him limited in terms of that. I'm coming to school. Him knows the best football and was short.
When I climb the mountain,
yeah, man. No, man. You don't want him for any team where you play, man. Any team you play, you want a man like him, man. Because
that is the man who has to have a big heart.
Yeah, man. Yes, man. Yeah, man. You want to put on the biggest stack up on the biggest man, and in the business, we're big at that. Yeah.
Yo, me stand up in a fire beside Tony, man, because good character. Good
Yeah, man,
character, good
exactly.
person, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Exactly. So,
Let me show you what kind of good character Tony is, and I don't want to go off for too long, but it is because of Tony Moore why I even come to the US, because we used to visit him and then him sit me down and we have a let's call it a team talk about life. I'm gonna say, you know what, Tony, I'm gonna do it. And so come I went back to college and end up being here. So that is how much me and him, tight.
Yeah, good guy, man. Good person. Good person.
I feel
And
it.
that is actually.
Come again, Raymond.
No, I'm saying it's a good testimony when you talk about school, because we all come from different walks of life, right?
Yeah.
Right? So you have man who come from the ghetto.
Yeah.
You have man who come from uptown. You have man who come from the country. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but somehow when we all got together at that school, all of that stuff kind of just melted away, and we're all just Meadowbrook students. You know what I mean? And that was the beauty of the whole thing, and people caring for each other and just helping each other, not just on the football field or the netball court or the cricket pitch, but even when it comes to the academics and just working through certain issues with life. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, man. That was a big part of the whole Meadowbrook experience for me. So.
Let me say this soon about Tony more, because I can't make talk about Tony. I'm going to mention, because a lot of people know this. Before I started this podcast, I mean, and Tony, I've been in touch. Just like sometimes you're in touch and sometimes you're out of touch. But before I started this podcast, and Tony know a lot of things about my life for me I go through, and that's why I did missing in action for the longest while. I'm on a year, I not see me. And when I decided I'm going to try about this podcast, and I called Tony and I said, Tony, I have some ideas I'm going to run by you, and me and him talk about it, and I said, all right, Jelly, you can try, so and so. Him and the man said to me, say, boy, Jelly, let's try the one a week, and send out one a week, and put it up on a Saturday morning or a Friday night. And I feel my advice, me take why I start them thing, and say, Jelly, just make sure you put out one a week. Don't put out more than one a week, maybe. So I said to you, so he has been, can he live here longer than me, him about long, in terms of, live a foreigner, and can give me advice in terms of what me never have at all. So I have to big up Tony Moore, big him up, big props to him. It's me I said to you because yeah man. And
man, it's good when we all can look out for each other, man.
Yeah man, exactly. So
regardless of who we come and what we are, so we still look out for each other.
Yeah man. So, he encouraged me when I started this, man. I said, boy, before I start, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to do him, boy, Jerry, to try it and see. And believe me, I never know if I take off the way I take off, and people like it, because I say when I start, I just think somebody just got to talk to some cricket and some football. And by now, Loki, I think somebody run out of people for talk. But that's not the case. It's not
I want to hear their worst moments at school. What Willie and thing them, because we've been talking about so much good moments.
Yeah.
Put on the bad.
Yeah, let me ask a question away, Loki, because that question may come to next. Good point you bring up. But let me ask them. And Steve, you take that question here first. What the most embarrassing moment you remember at Meadowbrook, where you can look back on with a smile?
I think I mentioned it with the China case,
Okay.
Yeah. Him just coming through all of the classes and try to embarrass me and thing. And when I look back at it, I'm saying that was like 81, 82, I think. And I don't think that is happening in school now. Which prefect could I get a student to walk through without a fight and all that, So, when I look back and comparing those years to now, I'm like, we have come a far way. And, we and Jamaica itself need to revisit certain things in the school, because I don't think a prefect can talk to a student or punish them anymore. And that was like a everyday thing in the 80s, early 80s for us, and we just have to accept it at the time. We never reject or try to fight back or anything.
That's one
reason. When I thought that was embarrassment, it strengthened me.
Yeah.
Make me a better person.
Yeah. I know what I mean, Steve. Because that's one of the reason why I never gravitate towards certain things. Because I don't want nobody to talk to me a certain way. I never play character and everything. Me like play something with the merit, man. Not somebody subjective decides saying one of the certain things to you. So
yeah.
You understand? That's why I love sports.
Yeah, I agree with it, Jelly. That is precisely the reason why I ended up leaving the cadet corps, because certain man, I don't even remember the guy's name, but said something. It wasn't even directly to me. He said it to somebody else. I said, but you can't talk to people.
Exactly.
You can't.
No,
Done with this. I joking this.
it's a
No one man nobody can not there, man.
no.
Yeah.
When you play football and cricket now, you know you get a game where a man talk to you based on how you play and how you perform. You see me I said, now even if a man talk to you a certain way, you know, say you can buck him up on the field, okay, and you can put it on him a certain way.
Yes, man.
You see me I said, so a guy now going to take a chance and talk to you a certain way. If you're fast, but like cracking on a man, I go talk to you and talk to you a certain way. Are you bad? You say, no, man, come. Because circle this on the football field, not in your mouth, because you have power, this and that. You see me I said to you? Because circle this on the court, man, on the football field or the cricket pitch, man. So Raymond, what the most embarrassing moment you remember? You can look back on with a smile. Repeat that, Raymond. You kind of drifter. Repeat that.
I said I don't really have anything that I would say was embarrassing, right? Other than the incident I mentioned to you about missing the exam, because frankly speaking, that's one of the reasons why I ended up repeating fifth form. You know what I mean? And I was going into the exam with an A, and that was a slam dunk. Mrs. Pottinger, you know, was so disappointed in me, and boy, that hurt me. It hurt me to see her cry and thing, and more so even after having to go home and then relay that message to my mother and my father, who, boy, you know, money was tight in the beginning anyway, and they have to pay for these exams, and here it is, I wasn't prepared. But I want to show you a thing. Here's what that kind of instructed in my life. It's about, for me, preparation always. You understand what I'm saying? So even though it may have a meeting with somebody, me don't show up on time to the meeting. Never did it 5, 10, 15 minutes before the meeting.
That's why you called me 5 minutes early today.
That's right. so certain things kind of instruct. Oh, you and look, let me say, you know, these might be trivial to some people because everybody have different experiences, but for me, that was a big deal. You understand me? So, you know, to see all of my contemporaries going to sixth form and me never do so well as I had expected, but you know, no problem. But it really just shaped how I dealt with certain things going forward in my life, and even some of the bad experiences like that. You know, they're meant for you for good.
It grow. Just like how Steve says, like certain things grow into that. Tear you down.
For your good, man.
Yeah, man. Make it stronger. Make it stronger. Yeah. And sports.
There's a question I want to ask him, because he and I has had a good bond over the years from beginning to the end. Well, it's not ending right now, but to present, I should say, from beginning to the present. And it has bothered me many times whenever I reflect on it. And I know I've mentioned it to him once, but I want to ask him again in this forum to see what was his feelings at that time. Because I have always been a class clown. And at the time I was clowning around in sixth form. And Raymond stood by the front classroom door. And somehow, I don't know why, I think I needed to shut that door or slam that door. And when I shut the door, I shut it by Raymond's finger. When Raymond ball out and open at the door, Raymond's finger spew blood. I was like, oh my gosh. Raymond, how did you feel about that moment? I mean, I feel bad still. I want to apologize for that moment. It wasn't intentional.
Really?
You remember it?
Well, yeah, things happen, you know what I mean, in our life. You know what I mean? You see those things happen, and it's
But
like,
I know you wanted to kill me at the time, didn't you?
I can't kill my captain. I can't kill my captain. How are you talking about? Oh, man. But
I know I can't get to him. He hated me for that moment. I just felt it. Raymond never talked to me for the rest of the semester.
Yeah.
But you know, let me tell you something, though, Jelly. There's a point at Meadowbrook where you start realizing, boy, some of the men that play sports and are some of the men that were not serious about their academics. And to some degree, I'm not saying that Luke wasn't serious about the academics, but I was doubly serious about the academics, right? You already have come from a poor family, and you know, so boy, the only outlet for you is getting a degree and going to college and help your family make them life better, right? So to me, I was all about just the focus, you know what I mean? And, you know, I kind of feel like at that point, Luke was joking a lot, you know what I mean? And that wasn't me. You know what I mean? I was very focused on the work. You know what I mean? So, and I wanted to make sure I had really good A level. So, yeah, me just to the point where I want to tell you, I think I've never been to a Meadowbrook Fete or barbecue, and I'm not saying that was that would have been
Oh,
a
you
hindrance
missed out
to
some
me.
good highlights, man. You missed out.
I've never been those things because again, you know, just circumstances and then just focus at that point in my life. It's just like,
Yeah.
I need to get myself out of this car. More time, you know, you walk and go up Red Hills and you walk past, you walk all the way up to Leesworth and you say, right, in front of them, right to the house, yeah, man. Who living at the house? I walk. I think to myself, boy, when I get older, I don't want to walk. I don't want to have to take the bus or walk from the hill, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then when you penetrate and you in your head and you think about, you're penetrating, you think about your future and you're like, man, if we can do this at the school and get the grades I need to get, then I'm going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I never hear you look. I just think you was having too much fun, man.
Yeah.
No, say it right. I was a waste of time.
No, that's enough. Everybody
childish.
put away your phone now. Everybody mature at a different age, you know.
Yeah.
Luke, he mature after I left school when Talk told me to decide to come to college and change his life around a certain way. I saw that go.
That sounds more right. Yeah.
I saw that work, you know, everybody mature at a certain age. Me never take it serious when I go to school and all the way there. You see me, I said to you.
But Jelly, you must know that I don't know if you know Luke's age, but he's quite a young, very young person. And I think he started at age 10 at Meadowbrook. So
yeah.
You know,
Right. So that's another thing again.
At that time he was maybe 3-4 years behind Raymond or so. And he's still a young person.
When Luke in a sixth farm then with Raymond, and it's like Luke, it's like Raymond a big man to Luke age-wise and contemporary.
Right.
Mentally, it's like him not reach mentality.
No.
At waiting him you reach Raymond. It's like, and him not wait until afterwards, you know, because at that age, you know, 2-3 years make a big difference when you're teenagers, you know. And I like now, we're all mature and a big man, you know, and 2-3 years now make much difference, you know. But at a teenage age, it make a big difference, man. Mentally, we all have
I never carry no feelings because of that, Luke. Because you know, if you want to talk about moments when them people have big argument, and Tony Moore used to have some rated argument about all kind of different things. You know what I mean? Just have a different point of view, and we always leave those conversations as friends. So it's just part of life.
I almost fight.
Raymond, I the wrong word I use, you know, because guess what? Me and Oral Shah are the most vociferous debate. I mean, because I'm not going to call it, and two of them on different political sides. So in the 1980 election, It's a message to you. I never see that argument, but it sharpen the skill. It sharpen the intellectual skill and your debating skill. I know you, because to me, that's the biggest problem with Jamaica now, you know. A man don't know for settle that dispute.
Right.
Without I go to violence, you know. I mean, I say, we, in our environment of Meadowbrook, we learn that. Because we learn to settle disputes without resorting to that at all. We talk and talk until we talk and talk some more. There's no violence at all. No man thinks, say, Raymond never thinks, because look, bust him finger, I'm going to get a knife and go do this and do that to him. No, for that school, I did that. No,
I didn't get that impression. I just felt it was a bad moment between us as friends.
Yeah, you misjudged that thing.
So wrong.
Yeah.
Luke, it wasn't. Point is that you felt guilty. That's it.
Yes, I felt guilty because I didn't mean to hurt him. Didn't even know his finger was there, and I don't think whatever game I was playing, he was in that game at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Innocent
bystander. Yeah, me and somebody else was doing something somewhat. I forgot what it is, but I just remember that sticking out in my brain. Every time in sixth form, all I can remember is squashing Raymond's finger.
I think you chop off the man's finger, okay, it's all right.
I thought it was worse, really. No, how bad was it, Raymond? It wasn't to the bone. Raymond?
I wonder if him drop off. Raymond?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, I said I don't even recall how long it took to heal up, but it was all right after a while.
That wasn't major. Okay, great. That was my concern, but it wasn't major.
All right.
Like it didn't stop you from writing your exams.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Let me ask you another question, and this is more a fun question, and this might go for Stephen more than Raymond, because Raymond said I'm never going to fit or none, but might still apply to him. But Stephen, which song you remember at Meadowbrook was stand out? Popular song? Either local or international, you remember, you remember Meadowbrook days and Yassirati, you remember that song there. And for your man, you have the reputation where you have, you know you must have a couple of them.
Get flat, man. Everybody get flat.
Oh, that fete that Raymond didn't go to.
Blood fire party get flat.
The blood fire party coming and playing at the assembly hall, man.
That Meadowbrook old boy up on the band, yes, yeah.
Yeah, the one that died, Paul Bannicar, so I think he died.
Yes,
Not the lead singer, not Paul Blake.
No, Bannick him and Paul Bannick.
Oh, yeah. But when they used to come to Meadowbrook too, the bass player for Bloodfire.
Yeah, I think that's Meadowbrook. Meadowbrook. One, but he, I think Bannick died.
I never know so Bannick used to come to Meadowbrook. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just know Benji, because we know Benji good. That Mr. Bellin's younger brother, Donovan.
Bello, man.
Bello
is a good teacher to him.
Yeah. Him film younger brother upon the band. I think him still play bass, but Bloodfire disbanded, I know, but him still go up on tour and all them way there. Yeah. So Raymond, you have any song? Always say never gonna fight.
Virgin, trust me.
No.
So there's many parts that me not touch upon yesterday, because one of the things my old man used to do, him used to work construction, and him used to keep dance at the house, at the yard all the way. My old lady used to have a shop, just like Luke and me have this in common. My mother used to have a shop too. My mother used to have a shop. And we used to have a big yard, and my old man used to keep dancing at the yard all the time. And so, and in fact, so Tennessee, man. Or what pumpkin belly.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Big tune that for me.
Oh, what, pumpkin belly.
Whoa. Yeah, man. Yeah. Love that tune, Raymond. I love that tune myself, man. Tennessee, the late, great Tennessee, man.
Great Tennessee.
Ring the alarm. Ring
the alarm. Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you another question now. And you take that one here first, Steve. Any fun memories you remember at Meadowbrook? And this can be on the training ground, a field trip, in the classroom. Any fun memories you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. A whole heap of fun memories, especially with me and Buffy, man. Trust me. That was my boy in terms of gangster style or defending other people and all that. But I think he's raiding mango trees.
Are you the person who raid orange tree when Paul Gabler get the blame?
Oh, both for that, man. Both for that. Yeah, because we really get, like when the Dread send us out on road run and thing. Yeah, and make all man them who try more and them gobble and them so who say them a long distance man and thing. Me and Buffy stop a 2 yard first and jump in a 2 yard and raid orange tree and mango tree and so but we didn't have nowhere to store them and us coming back from that track thing. Right? So what we play smart, we wear two shorts and we tie the end of one of the shorts and take it off and full it of mango. And we hide it somewhere in some of the yard close by.
By the
and we just run come down. So by the time we're done play, we have that mango, we know for go. We should have to go in for the mango them. Hide out.
The mango tree, the Meadowbrook used to feel it to them, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God. And one day we don't run left salt up in one of the tree, them, man, and the man come out and see we run. And by the way, the man I go back in him here, some leaf a crash, and him look at salt, I jump out of the tree.
Yeah, man, but that's the fun part, right? Being at Meadowbrook and those upper fruit trees, we really raid them, man. Trust me, raid them.
Form after training was fun for us. I remember that, really. Raymond, I don't think I did as much with you as I did with Willie, but I know that me and Minot and Willie and Tony Moore and Tegre, we had a fun walk after training every single day to the foot of the hill.
So for you,
Yeah, man.
man, any fun memories you remember either up on the training ground or the classroom or field trip where you remember a Meadowbrook?
Bully for them. Well, so when we repeat fifth form, that I get two real quick. So we used to repeat when we repeat fifth form. Mr. Hossang was kind enough to allow myself and two young ladies to use his craft room as a study area.
Mm-hmm.
I not call the name of the young ladies, but those were some of the most fun times, man, studying together. You know, again, iron sharpening iron off of the football field. This is more around academics, right? And to see both of them now in their own right, very successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Professionally. And, you know, I still have that bond. You know, one of them live over in the UK and one is here in the States, and we still keep in touch. So just fun times back in Mr. Hassan, little enclave back there. So now there's one with the dread now. There was a youth who used to play for the Manning Cup side named English.
Yeah,
Right?
Oh man!
Yeah, you
Oh
remember
man!
that, yeah.
And English used to kick the ball with a ferocity, may I tell you, where in the accurate, you know, but when him kick the ball, you know, the ball
Cannon, cannon. She bumped it.
I was the to come and stay go park in car right behind the goal, right in front of the
The water commission gate. In the water commission gate. Yeah.
And Dread used to, you remember Jelly Dread used to drive the little bug where it looked like Rossa drop off.
Oh, you mean if you remember the bug? That's
Camouflage. Come on, man. Camouflage. Put it nicely. Camouflage bug.
I'm gonna say, bro, may I tell you, man.
Yes.
English, I don't know what English eat that day there. Let's eat some yam and dumpling and kick the ball, you know. And miss the goal by about a mile, but you saw the ball connect on the car, you hear boom, right?
And the dread reach to the left and hold up the back seat and the right and hold the steering and hold the car together.
Dread say, English! You're trying to kill my car.
That was true. That's definitely a money.
Dread was fun, man. Dread was fun.
Yes.
That was the 5 team that we were yeah.
That's right.
No. That would have been the 84 team. English never played 85.
84.
Yeah.
84,
The orange and green, the orange and green jersey them. Yeah, that was the 84 team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was you know that 84 team, you know.
Go ahead.
That 84 team.
Yeah.
You know that I started training, and I took Lon Davis with me, and for some reason the dread didn't want Lon Davis, and he went to Excelsior.
The big Excelsior center. Yeah.
And they won Manning Cup that year.
Excelsior.
I remember that. Yeah.
And Lon, you come from Dwayne Park, Steve.
Yeah. He lived on Avenue, just a few doors from me.
Yeah.
He was going to eat that at the time, and I said, "Hey, come train for Meadowbrook."
Mm-hmm.
He went, but for some reason, manager wasn't getting together, so he left and went to Excelsior, and Excelsior won that year.
Good luck with Manning Cup the year and go train with Jeffrey Maxwell. Yeah.
I want to tell you, it wasn't just Lon, you know. 'Cause I wrote right around that same time when Lon came. I think Bobby and Tippy and what do you tell name again?
Reggie from Camperdown did come. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had some imports coming in, and the man them just gel with me, man. It was nice, brethren. It was like they had been going to Meadowbrook forever. They never feel like they were from another school.
Outside, it's that's the thing, you know. By that time, then you know, it's like the culture of Meadowbrook was so strong, you know. Man couldn't come and change the culture, you know, because when I come from first farm and I play a certain way, and it's like no man can come from outside and change the team spirit or involved in the school at all. See, if a man come, which is why enough money come in, as Steven said, will be imported to come in, but them couldn't change the culture of the school.
Right.
The culture of the school was embedded through the foundation, man. I'm like, what did they from first farm? And it's like, unconsciously, it's not like the man I say, they must something on Panama, but it's like the whole team. It was a team thing right through, man. The culture of the team.
Surprising.
I think why I didn't take Lon Davis no Willie is because that year he took Bull and Benton, who were two center halves.
Bull and Benton.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Lon, it was like we had too many center halves. Because remember, Luke and Jano, me and Jano was actually the center halves coming up from Colts. And we were there, and that's the reason why he moved me from centre half to wing back. And at the time, he had Howie Smith playing wing back, so I was benched that year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So we had too many defenders that year, too many. 'Cause even the
But there was
bench
another guy though, Luke, that played center. I'm near him drop out too. What name? Jesus. And him on Bobby, my brethren, man. You know what I talk?
Twitter, yeah, sir.
No, Twitter.
No, I think that's JC. I think I'm Martin here, Martin from JC.
Oh man, there was a guy.
No, man, he wasn't I know him. I didn't know his name.
Yeah, name will come to me eventually.
Always
But
with
the music.
attack.
I don't know who drop out.
Always Smith drop
Howie
out,
Smith
you know.
play wing back. Yeah, Howie Smith drop out.
Always Smith.
Yeah, he was playing the left back.
He always been drop out. Cause I think
And the right back, I think it's Boom Ricketts. Boom Ricketts was playing the right back.
Yes, Boom Ricketts was playing right back. That's right. Yeah.
And Howie Smith was playing the left back. And then Bullen Benton in the middle.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Steve, you sound like you never said something. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to remember the person name. It was Howie Smith.
Yeah, always.
Play wing back.
Can't say him drop out. A man they tell me that the other day. I think on the podcast. I think I tip you. I don't remember.
Yeah, man. General, you that man.
Yeah, man.
One of the best.
General Bala.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I want to tell you, enough is not said about this person. And when I was in Jamaica recently, me and mine at them about having a drink, and them say, "Who is the most skillful player you've ever played with at Meadowbrook?" I said, "Boy, I happened to play with Ira Turner after I leave Meadowbrook, and up New York in the Bronx, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big highlight of my life, because it's somebody that to me, Ira was a god when I go to school. You know what I mean? So to see him play, but the most skillful player I played with while at Meadowbrook was Look Up, because just finesse on the ball, may I tell you, Jelly. Finesse, man. Finesse on the ball, man. There weren't too many schoolboy players that could do what Look Up. I think when he was even playing Money Cup, he was playing Major League at the same time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Too much.
Yeah,
man.
Well, look up right name again.
Michael Lindsay.
Yes. Yeah.
General.
So Reed was my general though, because no disrespect to Look Up, but Look Up would be twirling and holding the ball, and the moment would pass him, while Twitter Reed would be picking the right moment and making more headway. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Twitter Reed was more team player. I agree with that way. Me think that Twitter Reed stand out for me. At a big
More
time
effective.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think Twitter went on to go play for Jamaica and all them things like that. Twitter was that good. I think.
Yeah, man. Him wicked, man. Wicked.
Him stand out, man. Him was a stand out on that team there. Yeah. I remember asking another question now, because believe it or not, as simple as I take it, and we just start talk at almost 2.5 hours there attack, and it come like nothing.
20, yeah.
That's them conversation you go. That's why I have no limit. We just talk until we decide it's time for wrap it up. So you this first, Steve. What the best learning experience you get from Meadowbrook?
I think it would be doing art class with David Osang. He and I think that time around I was more involved with the church, that, so he was always encouraging me that to stay focused and all that. So being around him, he has done a whole lot in my life, and I've never shared it with him, although the last time I saw him, I think it was 2003. We had a long shot because I went down to Meadowbrook Sports Day. But yeah.
Well, eventually we are here, you big him up that way, and we love that, and we appreciate that. So
he was the one that really motivated
inspire
me.
you, yeah. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Steve. Glad to hear that.
And I guess for school boy level or classmate level, Peter Champagne played a great part in my life also, seeing that we are both at the same age group and all of that. But while I was a member of the ISCF and all of that, trust me, Bright, he encouraged me to stay focused and all that, because at that time, Dwayne Park was really getting out of hand. As a young youth, I could have gotten involved with the politics war and all that, because, I was picked up on and beaten up and all that at about 2 times or so. And while attending those meetings, man, I say, forgive, move on, stay focused and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
Glad to hear that, someone. Make you decide, but I take it to a different level. Because it's an easy thing that to do, Man beat you up and decide.
Because at the time, guns were easy to get, because
man, I give a gun.
that got involved. I saw friends died and all of that right in front of my gate, and so my friend and me I get shoot up and all of that, and they had also take refuge in my yard and all that. So, it was an experience then.
But let me ask you something, Steve. I mentioned something important. I have a glass of white, What made you decide, say, you never want to go that road there?
I think my parents, especially my father, because I was living with my father at the time. I just visit my mother now and again, and then by that time my mother had migrated, so I had to spend most of the time with my father at the time, and to see how he must struggle for feed me and make me go through school, and so I couldn't disappoint him. Me have to make him proud. Yeah, but I had to stand tall and say no. The politics thing's not for me at all. I mean, if I'm politically motivated, I'll be a part of a party. But if you take up a weapon and harm a man, that's not me. Right. So no friend fight against no friend, and enough guys. But 4 occasions, guys die right in front of me. Yeah. I look back and think and I say, no, I don't want to go that way.
So your father played a most important role in your life then to avoid certain things then, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Glad to hear that.
Really?
And the atmosphere at Meadowbrook was able to keep him chill too, because some school atmosphere could have helped him for break out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some school encouraged the war and the violence, Luke. That never happened at Meadowbrook at all.
Well, no, we can't put it that way. Not some school encouraged the violence. What I'm saying, some school atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere, not the school, right where Luke. Yeah, some school atmosphere, because you don't go to school.
That's school,
and you can identify as a gang member of the school. Nobody never identified. Yeah, I understand what I mean. Yeah.
We never have that atmosphere at Meadowbrook.
No.
So
Luke, you're spot on, Virgin, because remember going to Frenchtown, go play a match, and man on the sideline with, knife and cutlass, and I say, hey, you, it's like you, the next time you come down, we can pass, right?
Yeah.
That students may talk about, may not talk about people from off of the street, right? So Meadowbrook didn't have that kind of culture. So I mean, I think it's probably played a part in all of us just being who we are.
Right. The culture of Meadowbrook was able to keep Stephen Williams chilled.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you think about that, it's like, despite the fact that we never stayed away there, we win so much trophy. It's an amazing thing, It's an amazing
feat. Violence kind of feeling, a lot
exactly.
of things.
Exactly. We talk about that in some of the other podcasts, so I never want to go back over it so much. But you talk about the quarters final, you talk about the finals against the match against Tivoli Garden, and the man literally come war. You see me I say to you? Yeah, man. Each cup talk about the match, Money Cup match, and they play the camper down, man. It's like a fight, the man when Meadowbrook start beat them.
Fight.
Yeah, me know that talk about, man. We never faced it so much in the cricket. But intimidation was so much that the umpire you play against most of the time. A 13 man, or 2 umpire and 11 players. So.
Yeah.
And the fact that we overcome all the magic. I'll tell you, but I come to him and talk to him on the referee empire. You have to 10 times better than them, man. That them can't stop you at all. That is why our victory in them period is significant in my mind, man. Because it's a team. It's a team thing, man. Because we beat.
You're headed by the dread teaching them mindset.
You're not going at, you can't come back and tell the dread about an excuse or umpire or referee. You can't come to him like that. You don't know that's going to play with him. Don't matter tell him that at all. You see me I said it. Don't make the referee. Exactly. So for you, Raymond, what the best learning experience to get from Meadowbrook?
But there's so many, Jelly. So many. And I shared with you earlier the role that Mr. Here played in my life. And that's just a snippet, you know what I mean? But there are other teachers. I mean, because to me, my primary reason for coming to Meadowbrook, obviously, the sports was great, but to me, the academics was the big thing. You understand me? So, you know, Miss Jones taught me geo in fifth form and sixth form. You know, I think Steve mentioned Mrs. McCullough earlier. We used to have a nickname there. I mean, I'm going to say the nickname on this podcast.
No.
Miss McCullough was amazing as well. Mr. Dean, Econ, sixth form.
I love that amazing class, yes.
Teacher. Yeah, man. Amazing teacher, man.
Easy to understand him, easily.
Yeah, Mr. Dean was amazing. I've already talked about Mrs. Pottinger. There's so many teachers. Miss Foster, who taught me math. Mr. McGregor, I never said this to so place, because him probably not think some think about him this way, and he probably don't even remember me, honestly. Because I wasn't a standout math teacher in the class. Man like Dave and Norman and them, man, there was more standout. You know?
Yeah.
Albert Chung, them, man, there was more standout. Honestly, they have to take maths 2 times for pass it, right? So, but again,
is it make for pass it? Weren't you and I in that evening class that we went to?
That's right.
Yeah. We took it over in 6B. And he made me pass it. It was my first encounter with him. And he made it so simple. I was like, dang, where was he all my time?
I think part of it too is just the commitment that these teachers had to us. They don't have, I mean, they're getting paid to do this job, but they don't have to care so much. You know, how much people have a job and then just go to the job and do what's necessary and go home. These teachers stayed late. They were always there for questions. If you had a problem, you could sit down and talk to somebody man know, say confidential. You know, Mrs. Millwood, you remember Mrs. Millwood, guidance counselor?
Yeah.
You can talk to any of these teachers. Mrs. Dunn, English teacher. So, to me, what made Meadowbrook really amazing to me outside of the student body was the faculty, my youth. And all the way down to Manos and Reds down at Baton.
I can't leave out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brother.
Yeah, man, of course. So, I mean, to me, that was it, Jelly. It's really about the commitment and the sacrifice that a lot of these teachers have made, and we don't talk enough about that, but we need to, because, you know, I think they're the ones that have made us be able to change our circumstances and have the kind of lives we have today. So just want to big them up, you know, big up the teachers, man.
I'm more in that, remember, because I know me look on it, it's like, it's an amazing thing, you know. It's like, you see, you talk earlier about how the dreaded and know your circumstances, and you want to how him know. And that go through all of Meadowbrook, and it's like, enough man come on and tell the story, and I say, oh, the man them know, say, the man they need help. It's like, it's for some reason, I don't know how the people, somebody at Meadowbrook know, and pinch a teacher or somebody else. There's always a teacher or an adult today at Meadowbrook, when you take a Meadowbrook, we're going to look out for you. It's when I say to you, yes, sometimes, go ahead.
I think what happened, Jelly, is that once you're absent, even for a day, the teacher is always inquiring, what happened to Mr. Williams? What happened to Mr. Witter? You know, and somehow someone is always living close to that person that knows the circumstances. Now, I'll say, you know, say Luke father, down or Steve father, down.
Somebody I know.
But you see, but you see the question.
So always reach out.
To reinforce the Raymond I saying, the fact that them ask a question. Them don't see you come to school, them care enough to say, I wonder what happened to Raymond today.
Yeah, because those days not everybody have a phone in their house.
No, that never exists. And you're right, I'm glad they bring that up. Man, I hear we are talking and say, no one ever call him cell phone or text him. No. This is 98. Cell phone never exists yet. An iPhone never exists when a man text somebody. We go clear it up here, Luke. Come on, I said, what about that when them can't reach man? No. Well, I never get phone in my yard till the 1980s. And a party line. Man, I know about that, the party line. You can't just use phone.
Party line.
Right, 1990s for me.
Exactly.
Racal had one phone, Jelly. One phone. You know, the middle of the school. I don't know if you ever come Racal yet.
Phone booth, what about Raymond?
Yeah, phone booth. One phone booth. In the middle of the school. So you say on Sunday evening.
Line.
When you want. You can't use the phone Sunday evening because everybody will call them relatives are far.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The line so don't have a tree. You can't get,
Yeah,
you can't
man.
use
So,
them.
so that mean a man can't call you either. And that's the thing. You know, the number for getting a man or nothing like that at all. You know? None of that at all.
Call what? Call what, man?
No.
You know?
So we skill it up for so much better, you know. So much better because the communication and we connectivity skill it up for better because we now have the cell phone like we have, you know.
No, Telegram was the thing.
Look here, tell them something enough of them. The Telegram I talk about, exactly.
No, not Instagram, not Instagram.
And the Telegram, look before. All right, let me ask another question. And Raymond, you check the one first. What life lesson you learn at Meadowbrook, you pass on to your friends and family?
Why preparation, you know, and one of the two things, preparation and taking risks. So I have two daughters, right? Still, and proud of them. And one of the things I always tell them is take risks. You know, calculated risks. You know, yeah, and that way you think about risk is you think about risk versus reward. And it's something what the dread taught us, you know. If you don't take no risk, you can't, you're probably going to do all right. But if you take risks, the rewards are much greater. You know what I mean? So, you know, take some risks, lean forward. I've never understood the idea of having something to fall back on. You understand? You make your plan and you execute your plan. And that's the big thing for me. You know, just taking risks and preparing, you know, because in a sports and in a life, if you're not prepared, you know, somebody else I go take your spot. You know what I mean? So, see.
Yeah, man. I like how you put that, Raymond. I agree with that fully. Just take the risks, take calculated risks, and take the risks with the rewards. Them greater than the risks. Up the bigger the rewards, the better, the greater you want to take the risks. You want to you always have to take the risk, man. You know, get nothing unless you take risk, man. So anybody who don't take risks, you have to take risks to do certain things, man. And strive and prosper and all them. They can't.
Yep.
But a lot of people just sit down with them up and decide to them not taking the risk. I'm not trying about the other Raymond, with you.
No, we definitely 100% behind it. Take the risk.
Small risk. Especially today's you can't take a small risk. So I said to you, you're not costing nothing. You just take some little small risk. And sometimes the reward might be big.
Yeah, I left Jamaica, a loans officer job at Scotiabank to come to the US and start back school, sleeping on floor and thing. And that was a big risk. Cut out everything, yeah. But, you know, it paid off. Paid off in the end.
Upside big are you? Upside big. Upside big. It wasn't even that big risk. The point is, you know, when you look on the upside, the risk don't look so big, you know. It's a minimal risk you take, you know. I could have stayed away there on the side. Yeah. But the upside in a big global first world environment, the upside of that is exponential, okay. Exponential.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Exponential. It's like when we decide to start this podcast, I risk me I take, because I put myself out there and I say, I want if people are going to hear me or want to listen to me and all of them. I say, them can't listen. But that risk me I got to take. It's a risk you have to take for start certain things, man. It's a risk you got to take every time, man. So you, Stephen, same question to you. Know, what life lesson you learn, you pass on? You learn a Meadowbrook, you pass on to your friends and family.
Well, it's simple, you know, education first. Any other thing, you know, is after. You know, I tell my son and play football in school, you know. Tell as Miss Martin said, play up and play the game. It's not a matter if you win or lose, but how you play the game. Play up and play that game. You know, you still have to not only the game, still have to look about the medication, make sure so the marks are up. Yeah, after all in things say one of the best thing that I said Michael's, but hey, still have to play, still have to focus on his education.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I remember I have a couple more questions to ask, you know, before we wind it down, because we almost going up to over 2.5 hours, you know. I mean, we're not coming like 20 minutes. But we enjoy the conversation.
Love it.
Man, when I one of the biggest complaints we get from this podcast, yeah, or the conversation, I'm not calling it podcast. Man said too long. I said no. When a man come for talk, his memory can't too long, you know. I'm just talking memory until him run out of memory.
I listen to these podcasts sometimes. I'm on my ride my bike and I go on runs, and if I do a run or a long ride, I just put in the podcast and listen to it. And when you may listen to the one with Itchy, I nearly crashed my bike.
Oh my God, that one was good. That one was good. I listened to that one too.
Right.
They would laugh.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I appreciate that because you can listen to it and you can stop it and start up back where you stop. I know.
Yeah.
Entertaining, man.
Yeah, man.
For real.
Yeah, man. It's like you listen to some old music or something like that, man. You can't just listen back over and over and I say, yeah.
I wanted Itchy to know how much he was appreciated on that team. And when him talk about when his mother make them jersey there, I was like, wow, I remember them like it was yesterday. Right, Willie, you remember, right? Because me and you have tried fitting them.
The one side jersey, we're talking about. Yeah.
One size.
I didn't have a problem fitting them, but man like Willie and mine with the big chest.
Yeah, they couldn't fit.
They have problem. Then the thing that start tear up and whip on the field, man.
Yeah.
But you know, Luke, you know that when I played farm competition, when I played farm competition, there was this guy that they had banned from the school. He lived where Mr. Tarp usually lived.
Well, Terry Long had that, man. Terry Long.
Them call him Watto. Him have this long beard and him look half crazy. Dark, slim guy. Right? Him usually got Antillians buy jersey for us because we usually give him money. And him usually buy farm jersey for us.
Mm-hmm.
No, Terry Long you attack. I think I know you attack. Where's him?
What them calling?
Yeah, I know you attack. I know you attack. I know exactly where you attack, Steve.
But he was a supporter of Meadowbrook, man. Any game with it.
Yeah,
he's there with us.
See, I give
I know you attack. I know you attack, Stephen. I know you attack. Yes. You're right.
No, Terry Long we attack. Exactly right.
No, Terry Long.
Terry Long.
What a man. What a look like him half crazy or something. But
yeah, he used to come Meadowbrook and like he get suspended or something like that, man. Yeah.
Quiet guy, but him really walk and humble and come around and.
All right, I'm asking a couple more questions. So, Raymond, take that one first again. Message did I get to existing student at Meadowbrook, or future student or staff member? We're going to hear this conversation. What message I get to them?
Well, I'd say leave the institution in a better place than you found it. Right? It's actually something that Luke and I have had this conversation before about just the condition of the school and some of that, right? And you know, we need to make sure that the institution continues the legacy. And so, if you're a student attending the school, think about what you can contribute. It doesn't matter how small, in terms of your abilities and your talents, and leave the institution better than you found it. That's my message to them.
And you, Steve, what message I get to existence here? Go ahead.
Simple. Just leave memory remarks and always give back. Mm-hmm. You know, make other can gain from where you leave.
Pay it forward, and that's what I say.
Pay it forward, absolutely. Yeah,
Pay
man.
it forward. Don't forget.
The other day, you know, Prince. I saw some picture of the bottom field, and I'm like, man, you know, I wonder if it's we own the land. What could we do to make it look, bushy and all kind of thing? But, you know, I got the understanding that it's what commission really own that property and not Meadowbrook itself.
Mm. Yeah, we'll find out more about that.
That was my understanding.
The church have something to do with the bottom field. I think the church cannot own that land, is what my understanding is.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it, but we need to find out more. I'm going to put it that way there. There's something. I don't want to say much about it on the area, but there's something. We need to find out more about that land. We'll just leave it at that. We need to find out more about that land. Because the land, they have whole heap of potential for the school. No matter look,
no value to the school, you know, not monetary, you know.
Yeah, right.
Because we have a bottom field and with sports day and they're not using it anymore.
No, right, no, that's exactly what my mind look. I don't want to say much as I said. That's exactly what my mind
matches, so.
I said exactly my mind, man. But as I said, I don't want to talk much.
A mini stadium there.
Yes. Along them lines, I think about it, Luke.
Yes, man.
Put forward $1 million, no, Luke.
The money, here we put that way, Steve. I'm not going to further with this because I try to talk to some people about something similar along them lines, and I say, you know what? Where, in terms of say, the money not hard for getting it. If you want to have a vision, if you say that you want, trust me. The money will come.
But in the plan, just fill Philistine, especially
No man,
the
definitely no
New
man.
York,
I got hear about, but I have to set the
the
right
New
way
York, the
first, you
New
know.
York chapter, yeah, the New
No
York
man,
chapter
what me I said, the
Philly.
support will come, you know. But you have to have the big vision and you have the right plan, and then you have to make sure you can't execute without having something written down and say,
Yeah,
yep,
I
yep.
thought about it also. I mean, I'm looking. I said, boy, if we get a nice stadium, long as mini stadium, long as have all the facilities and all of that,
Yeah, man, yeah. Yeah, me
gym
understand.
and everything, the one is,
Yeah, man.
that's my vision.
And the same vision me have to Steve. Same vision me have. But before we do that, we have to get the land thing right first. So,
Right.
so me try
You
to set up
can't
something.
put a structure on somebody else's land.
Look, you understand over there. You understand exactly me there. You understand exactly. I don't want to say much more about it because although this podcast and I come out in another couple of months because a whole heap of podcasts I have in front of this. So if you don't hear the podcast, I'll do no, but jelly. It's me I said to you. If you don't want to hear it, you call me one way and I say, boy, jelly can't just call me and let me know. It's me I said to you, me try to get before it come out. But if Raymond and Steve, when you just reach out to me and say, boy, jelly, I like listening back before it come out. So they make me know. It's me I said to you. But it now come out because me I work all along, you know, because time I promise say if a man call me and say, or a woman. Well, most of the women them come in because as you realize on the start, and look at the talk about this early, the woman them do a step forward. But once the girls them start step forward, if them call me anytime, I just say come, I put them and I'm in the queue. So that's why I have more podcasts and the weeks them you know. You see me I said to you?
Okay.
That's why the girl them step forward, we just put them out and a girl come out this week. I never know and then we get information. The one that the lady last week, Miss Sanders. You see me I said to you, that come out.
Yeah.
And them the information more, because there's like information all the way they're interested in how the school start and them things there, so you know. So let me ask you the question. Oh yeah, Steve answered that question already. All right, let me ask you two more questions now and then we wrap it up. And Steve, you take that one first, right? How it make you feel? I bring up back all the Meadowbrook memories after all these years. How this make you feel?
I feel good. I feel like I've achieved a lot, you know, to bring back great memories with friends, especially friends like Luke and
Pleasure.
Buffy and so, you know, Raymond was a senior person to me, you know, but on the field when I was playing with him, that summer, 82, never forget, you know, the midfield, the defender, one of the great defender out of Meadowbrook, you know, so, you know, that bring back a memory and a picture that summer and thing, and, you know, the memories are pot cover, especially the big baller where we had fear for, you know, and him couldn't pass Raymond. Yeah, him couldn't pass Raymond for score, so, you know, that really bring back a world of memories, and it's like me relive the moment for a day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I don't think Pat Cover had any luck with Meadowbrook at all, so you're right. For years.
Relive it for a day, Steve, and you can go back and listen to it anytime you want to go back and listen, if you want to relive it. So that's a good thing, you know. The memories are good, man.
Definitely. And apart from that, you know, people, I see, I don't know, it's like my nickname, like, it go a long way because I see even people who graduate from 1990 and them say, me hear your name all the while at Meadowbrook, you know. Me hear right, people call your name and the teacher call your name and the coach, the short coach, I forgot his name. We talk about me all the time. And I'm like, really? So,
I thought
you know,
Esteban was the middle name, so I'm glad you cleared it up.
No, it's the Spanish. It's the Spanish Steven.
Yo entiendo ahora. I know now.
Yeah. So you Raymond, the same question. What make you feel I bring up back all the memories after 40 odd years, 50 years almost, yeah.
Boy, it's beautiful, man. Beautiful. And I have to thank Maurice Minot and Lou and Tegre and all of the man them would get the 80s boys thing together, because without that I probably wouldn't be so connected to so many of these guys. And it's not anything personal, right? It's just like, you know, you go through life, Jelly. It's like I said, life challenge come your way. Yeah, and you get married and you have kids and you have a job and you have travel and you have the things, and so you don't keep in touch with everybody as much as you would have liked.
Yeah, man, the
But
usual life.
but to hear the voices of these guys, even though we can't ask some of them, and to hear the stories being relived, man, it warms my heart. Bring a smile to my face, and I just hope the next generation of kids at the school can go in and really make an indelible mark. Make your mark at the school. You're only gonna come this way once. Make your mark at the school and leave a fingerprint there. You know what I mean? Like all of us have done. So.
And some of the stories them Raymond and Stephen, as we realized tonight, some of the stories them we never hear before. Cause some of the story you talk about your story, Raymond. Never somebody story them never know. Stephen, with your story, with why never play Money Cup. Enough man never hear that before. Lukey, as close as admit
No, never
right?
knew that. Never knew that.
So enough of the story them you hear some for the first time upon them conversation, and that is good. Because some of the things you just never know at all. You just don't. Because you can't everything about everybody. You know? So when them story come out and man hear them story, it valuable, man. Because you can go back and listen and say, yeah, no, you understand why the man did such and such, you know? I want never play, you know? So, I mean, I hope, say, when try to reach out to Salta or Spencer Wang and find out if we can get, as a matter of fact, Loki, sweeten up the pot and tell him, say, once him find Salta, he want Salta come tell them story.
No, Spencer and I have a little conflict.
Yeah,
but
see that all the way, so really.
I'm trying to fix it up because it's somebody that I've bullied all my life and I need to stop and I want to apologize to him from this podium.
Well, you can't use
so,
it.
you know, it's a youth with a good heart and I need to make everybody know that I don't have nothing against him and really and truly I want to make that patch up, you know. So I don't know if I can reach out to him now. I might not take my call.
Reach out to him.
Call him. You call him, Luke. I have a good relationship.
All right, call him Raymond and give him and see if you can find Salta. Come in, I love your Salta story. As a matter of fact, more him and Salta come on. As a matter of fact, if you talk to him, I send me him number. I like your film story too. Because whether Salta come on, I love your Spencer Wang story.
Spencer Wang was also part of that 82 team. You know, just
right,
so
I
remember
that.
Spencer a legend now. Spencer the younger man who must climb a hockey tree.
No, I love your film story. We are out Salta.
I keep it right.
So
hockey tree at top of you.
As a matter of fact, Raymond, you get me number, send me number tomorrow. If you don't give me a call, you text me number, and then you talk to him and say, you send me number, I'm gonna reach out to him, and then text me and try take me, and then you can try to get him to touch with Salta. If him and Salta want to come on, good. If him find him, if him alone want to come on, it don't really matter. Same way. If him have somebody who want to come on with him, I love that to see him because you realize the more people on the conversation, the better the conversation flow.
Yeah,
it's a nice thing. I learned that I go in at this. It's like we learn things are going on. I say, boy, some people, I'm a volley pastor say you want them talk, but some people it's like you want it mixed up in terms of say more than one person attack. It's me I said, and this the blend with this with you and with name is that. And then I realize enough of the podcast I'm come on like a more than one person, you know? Because the story them just flow better that way. No flow off of each other. Can't remember the same memories them have. So yeah. So let me ask second to the last question before the last question I ask you now. And Luke, let me ask you this first. Is there any question or any topic you want to bring up when we never ask at all?
No, I think we covered most of the things because I wanted to interject some of the things and I did. So I don't have anything too outstanding right now. No.
Yeah, and you, Steve, anything where you think me never ask? Because that, from the first podcast go out, and I remember Tegreg especially. After we're done with Tegreg called me next man. I said, boy, Jelly, know, say, remember certain things in them. So sometimes I even ask him the question. In the car, and next one, I said, boy, Jelly, know, say, remember A, B, and C. So I ask him the question, Steve. Is there anything where you think you could have asked, so we never bring up, or anything where you want to talk about, we never come up at all, from your days at Meadowbrook?
No, really, not really. Basically, we touch mainly sports, and we touch teachers and so. Basically, we touch friends and so. But nothing really we can think about. If anything, when we call each other, we can talk about it after. But that's not really nothing new real right now.
Does something come to mind which might be a little funny, but any special mango raid that you want to share with us?
The it's too much Duke. Too much.
All right.
So
That's another podcast.
you you Raymond, anything where me never bring up at all, where you don't like bring up, or me never bring up at all.
Yo, Virgin, this me, you know, 'cause you never even talk about the big 1500 meter win when we do a sports
right.
day.
I know I forget something.
Heat up the Wardos. Well, I know. I have to tell that story real quick. So, I don't even remember the youth name. And Stephen, you probably know him because he was in ISCF. He was a big
Norris.
leader in the ISCF. Eh?
Start you named Norris.
Norris, that's right. So
Okay.
Norris was the favorite to win the 1500.
Yeah,
But
I
Norris
remember
don't,
that.
Norris don't know nothing about me, right? Norris just knows the boy. Him are the guy where the school kind of the boy at a UTI go champ because him beat up everybody every year when him run the 1500. Him kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So happens that me and him in the same class now. And what him don't know is a Rockall me come from. My mother send me go shop. Me have to run go shop and appear hill me a run
You
over.
know you run on bus every night.
And I'm run down bus every night. Right? So we're going to the race now and go so boom. And God sure not supposed to win this race. Right? God sure not supposed to even place in this race. And at the one race we decided for the house. And we just left him. The last lap of the race, we just left him. And he never see me again until the end of the race. So when the race done now, I didn't realize him losing to boy. You're lucky to say you win, because me never hear the bell ring. Me never know say it was the last lap.
Eat the food, Raymond, and him find excuse. Make him go ahead.
Just the race him up. Say, yo, you never ready. You never ready.
You never hear the bell ring. Wow.
Yeah. What the bell for the last lap? That him a talk about.
Last lap.
Yeah.
You never hear the bell. So they say, what you think about making a hear the bell ring? They used to write down the pavilion when they ring the last.
The
last lap. Yeah.
And the first man, you the one, the Raymond, that's a good one.
What's louder than the bell?
Yeah. And the first man, you're the one, man. And the first man, you're the one there.
Oh, we could excuse man. But Norris man is supposed to be a Hillsman too, you know.
Yeah, Norris
No,
come from
I
here.
don't think so.
Yeah, Hillsman. All right. Hillsman come from. I think not that side. There might be Golden Spring side.
Norris is
the other
known
side,
as a Hillsman too, you know. He's a tough youth, you know.
The other side, yeah. At different hills that. And
Yeah, female not red. Female must be green.
Which hill that him come from, Raymond? Which one?
Stony Hill.
No, that don't qualify for Hillsman at all. No, because no. At different hills that for true. You're right.
Them feel like green. Them feel like
Yeah. Anyway, let me ask you the last question. I'm going to start with you, Steve. What made Meadowbrook magical?
The classmates. Trust me.
Yeah, the camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah, the classmates that we get. You know, we were like family because most of us, we came from different background setting, financial setting, you know, economical setting, everything, you know, different, but we were able to blend, and, you know, to blend.
It make you want to go to school. You want to turn up for school. Even if you're school class, you want to go to school with them.
And there was not a time that even if I'm hungry, nobody would know. Because I remember this particular girl named Patricia Fisher.
Oh my gosh.
And
nice.
She didn't even know I have no money, but every lunchtime she'd want me to take taxi with her and we go Kentucky. Right? And when she'll buy for me and her. So I'm always getting lunch from her every day. So she wouldn't know if me have money, if I'm hungry or no, but she always carry me with her and we go by Kentucky and she came back and all that. So, you know, that was the family thing that I have. My friends, you know, we're wrapped together and all that. And we don't fight. Most of one fight ever in our Meadowbrook, and it was Kevin Barnes one day me have to knock him out. But apart from that,
Nothing about much about a fight there.
Nobody hear about the fight. Nobody hear about the fight.
yeah, so it was just the unity and all that. And it wasn't, I mean, we live loving. We live loving. And up to this day, I can still have friends. I mean, good friends, classmates that you think say is yes, let me know the person, and that's about 40 odd years now, and the love is still strong. We still hook up together. We call each other almost every week, same way. So and those are friends that from Meadowbrook. When Luke, me and Luke not talk like that anymore, but when he was in New York, we had a link up often. Luke house was the place that we could even keep a little thing. Anybody come up, if the gobbler come up, like Paul Smith would come up, and even call a couple of friends, and we have something over Luke. Luke place was it then. So, we maintain a friendship and a union, and that's what Meadowbrook is all about: family and friends, basically.
Yeah, man. That's the power. Sorry. So you, Raymond, what made Meadowbrook magical? Yes. Sorry.
Yes, my brother. So, you just said, I think people are always, people is what make the institution. I always hear people say, the church is not the building, the church is the people. Well, the school is not the building, the school is the students, the faculty. That's the school. The school is not the building. And so, to me, the people that made it really magical were the people that, were part of the experiences that we had throughout the time. So, even if they weren't directly connected with me, just observing and watching them and being part of the experiences with them made that all magical. So, yeah, that's really it for me. It's the people.
Yeah, man. I love that. The family of Meadowbrook is powerful, my brother. Family of Meadowbrook is powerful. That's the last thing I'm going to ask Trania now. Luke, any closing remarks before I close this out?
I've been thinking, no. I have none.
Raymond, any closing remarks?
Yeah, Bertrand. One thing I wanted to say is I want to remember some of the brothers and sisters that were with us that are no longer with us.
Powerful. I love you saying that.
Good one.
So Robin Curtis.
Yeah, man, my good friend that.
My Robin Curtis died a couple years ago.
Lyndon Curtis.
Yeah,
yes.
Lyndon Curtis. We call him Robin.
Man, I know. I'm a bona fide that in a 6 man. I'm glad you call him, man. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Michael Carr, again, original Hillsman, Donovan Carr, brother. Dropped out a few years ago. Virgin that, you know what I mean? So, and then you guys talked about Buffy earlier. And that guy was a bright light. So sad that he's no longer with us. But that was some of the man, and just some of that, and I think sometimes we have to reflect on where we are in life and say, boy, that could have been us. But for the grace of God that we're still alive and breathing and we're here. And I don't want to try to end this on no somber note, but we just have to be reflective sometimes.
Yeah,
and put that.
No, I like the note.
Yeah, keep it real, Raymond. I love, because this is one of the reasons why I'm glad I do this, because guess what? When all of you come on this and talk a story, it's whether when I work there tomorrow or next year, it's always there if your man hear your back, your family, your children, your grandchildren can hear it and say, yeah, that's your life. That's your story for the most pivotal moment in your life, the most influential moment. And when you go to high school, I remember it and reflect on it. So, no for we not get the opportunity there. No for we have.
And that's the point. I think a lot of us, I try make this into a religious thing, but if you have a belief or if you have a spiritual compass in your life, connect with that. Because we all are gonna go that way at some point.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And it's sad that these guys aren't here because who wouldn't love to hear Buffy's story?
Oh, I mean.
Right? Oh my gosh. That would be like a 6 hours.
that's a 6 hour podcast, right?
That should be that should be pay-per-view, Loki. That's
Oh my.
no, you're right about that, Raymond. Because I don't love hear people, so I don't know him good. But I love this so much.
My God.
You can imagine him alone. You couldn't share that with him, you know. Him alone attack the whole 3, 4, 5 hours.
Oh my God.
Non-stop.
He was a part of the group with Richie, Kevin Barnes, and myself named The Mob, you know, and Christopher Jones, you know. And you know what, I go down that road and hear that story.
Oh my
Mob.
You mentioned the great Leon Buffett Chambers, man. And I, man. After.
Yeah.
I'm a little brother that too, man. I'm a big. He used to come around me at a promo card. This guy, my Richie was good friend, man. So I know nothing.
Yeah, man.
I know nothing, man. I have to big him up, same way, man. Big him up.
Yeah,
So you, Steve, any closing remarks before we close this out?
Yeah, man. Just finally just continue to give back, to the school, and the school needed support. There are many students there, that they have completed complete 5 years at Meadowbrook. Some of them got accepted in colleges and all that, but they can't afford it. So if any out there can give a $1, 20, 100 or so, to the various organization, old student association and whatever, who give, it helps. It helps. There are students who attend the school now, present day now, that can't afford lunch money, can't afford a tablet and so. So, the more you give, is the more you encourage students to learn.
I appreciate it. Trigger me something I remember we want to talk about. It's like the perfect time to bring it in. I might closing remark this. I'm going to try to close the conversation in my week time with this. But glad you remind me of that, Steve, indirectly. I spoke to, about 2 weeks ago, Saleh Rose on the program. And she was mentioning, say she go down to Jamaica and she pick a youth and she carry around there for the day, like she travel with them today. And it made such an impact on the youth life, on them, who shall try and on the youth them life, on the youth life. And then a former head girl was on one of the conversation recently, Rattigan, Donna White, Philibert. She called me and I said, boy, you know what, Jelly? If you can start talk about, just like you talk about see, but this is my idea, give back. And it have to coordinate it in a way where, I don't want nobody to show up at the school with the idea of me, I say, it have to coordinate through the school and the guidance counselor. But me that love start though, past student, old student, even if them go to Jamaica, them go to Jamaica, a foreigner, and if a Jamaica, them have a foreign, or them know somebody, let's go have lunch with one of the youth them at the time. Just make a commitment to say, I go buy a party at the school and end up sitting down and eat lunch for 30 minutes. Just spend some time with the youth them. Trust me, if we can start with that, we man find the time. If you can't go in a Raymond, you find a friend and say, I'm going to send a money come here and go carry somebody go for lunch today. And you sit down and talk with them for 20 minutes and you just ask them about the school. You tell them about what you do when you go to school. And trust me, within no time, you're going to see the vibes of the school change.
Mm-hmm.
You follow them? That not take no way for money, you know. It not take no way for money. It take time. And if you go down when you go visit, you know what, make an arrangement with the school and pick a student randomly or whoever the school want to do it. And you just buy a lunch with them at the school today. If pick the day they pick and you go buy the food from us, say, come and go buy a bun and callaloo for your picker. And you sit down and eat with them. It's not official, you know. I not have to carry them on the lunch or nothing, you know. You just carry a youth, a little boy, a little girl and say, come, I go buy lunch for you today. And I eat that. You spend 10, 15 minutes a day. You visit Jamaica. If you live at Jamaica, and you're there foreigner, you just send the money to get a friend of yours, go spend the money upon youth for the day. It's not taking away for money. You just have to take a little will to say you got to change the spirit of the school. And you talk about the school. Yeah. You talk about what
Jelly, but can I ask you a question, Jelly? You've been asking all the questions. I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Is there does the school have a kind of I know we have homecoming. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a week or a month dedicated to just what you just described. But I'm thinking about it in a different way, more around career and helping students think beyond where they are,
yes,
and where they probably want to go, and,
yes,
and having somebody who maybe is a doctor, engineer, a lawyer, a mechanic, somebody who can come in and give that experience and take questions from the kids
Yes, they do.
It have to be a two-way conversation. It can't be a one-way.
No,
I
we
mean,
understand. But
No, they
go
have
ahead.
something
let me
like that
answer it.
going on.
Jelly, let me answer
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
Yes, they do. We have been having career guest speakers. The other day we have Raj Mason, who is one of the brigadier general in the army, and I think we have Anthony Lysett, which is a major in the army, and we have been having them former past student going and giving career
Yeah,
talks.
Big Brother mentorship has been going on.
Yeah,
and mentorship, exactly, Luke. So,
Yeah.
you have a diverse cross-section of people that have different careers in all different kind of walks of life.
Yes, we have been doing
different
this.
fields, and you kind of figure out how to bring those people in. And trust me, that lights up in a child's mind, because I've done this for my daughters at their schools here, where you go in and them people, they're fascinated with what you're doing, because they're like, they don't even understand how some of this stuff works.
No.
So somebody like Luke coming in and talking about IT and technology and all of the different components and aspects of that, and career opportunities that the kids can think about. It's great, man. It's a way to kind of get them engaged and kind of light up them life and bring a different impact.
No.
It is happening.
And
It is happening in Meadowbrook.
and that needs to continue happening, But when me I propose, or when me I think we can do, is almost a more personal touch, where just imagine the effect where you go up and you just sit on him 1-for-1 for 15 minutes. And you talk to him about him life, you talk about Meadowbrook, you can't talk about where you are. I'm going to ask you a question now. Just imagine the impact. It I got unofficial in a way, Raymond, you never going to realize the impact that I go have until years later, you say, right, the culture of Meadowbrook change. It is
The only problem with that, Jelly, the only problem with that is that the security is so tough that, you have to get past the security and you have to make arrangement with the school
but remember,
administration.
hold on, I understand what you say. Remember, I say, initially, I said, I don't want a man that's randomly go up at the school. It have to be coordinated through the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man, me not going to say a man that's randomly show up at the school. It have to be coordinated. It's like, once it's set up on a run, I talked to Donna, and she said she's going to try to set up in a way. She's not quite ready yet. You just go up on a site, and you log in, and the school coordinate it, and you have to register. You can't show up at the school, so. You see, I said, it have to be... No, I understand exactly what I said. I never talk about that tonight. You have to do it in a coordinated and official way. And then I didn't make and I say, it's like, say, if you want to go down to Meadowbrook now, you go to Jamaica for 2 weeks. I say, you know what? Out of that 2 weeks, 15 minutes, you go to do that. You have to register and say, and the school, I go find somebody, I go eat lunch with the day at the school. And trust me, if we start that in a little small way, trust me, man. It coordinated, Stephen. It have to be coordinated through the school, man.
By the way, Jelly, the next time you have Lucas guest host, please introduce him properly as the Presidente of the New York chapter.
President of the New York chapter.
Of Meadowbrook High School for several years. You have to give him big up, him inside out that. Because he has done
Make him puff up him chest. Make him puff up him chest a little bit, right, Stephen?
Yeah.
No, he has done a whole lot for this side. Trust me.
Has. I know.
And the way for contribution and all that. Yeah, so you have to give him props.
Yeah, man. Next time.
Thank you, Willie. And Willie, not because I'm not in New York, we're still in touch. And don't matter if I don't call you for 2 years. When I call you again, it's just like brother, same way.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Anyway, gentlemen, Raymond Robinson, I'm glad you met this conversation going. And you know what I talk about. You reach out to me about another man and I say, come tell the story. Stephen Williams, and me have more connection to you than Meadowbrook, I tell you. Luke Witter.
Yes, sir.
Big time, you know you from me as Grace Witter, little brother, so a big time thing. I'm glad I'm trying to come spend more than 3 hours this evening, come talk, and this is a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And God bless all I know. And God bless Meadowbrook, because we have to just go and look for the blessings, man. Peace.
I mean, Meadowbrook.
And thank you all for coming here, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
Yeah,
Just go in there.
Respect Raymond, respect Luke.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Big up.
Guys.
Yeah,
See
man.
ya.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks. We talk. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
man. Cool.
Thanks for listening to Meadowbrook Memories, and remember to give us all the support and encouragement you can on whatever social media platform you are listening. And special thanks to my production manager, Kyle Prince, who takes care of everything involved in getting the podcast out every week. And without him, this podcast would not be possible. It is his expertise that allows me to do what I love doing every week, having great conversations about Meadowbrook memories, and he's responsible for everything else. So again, thanks to my production manager, Kyle Prince.